last space call, I think it was 2 days ago. You were on it, man. You were out there battling, man.
Well, I just got done battling right now, so I came in here to cool off because it was that bad.
Oh man,
it was awesome though. Like, I don't mind it. I don't mind people coming at me. I can handle it. I'm supposed to retweet the YouTube really quick while you do all that. But shout out to your little man, dude. Happy birthday. If you guys don't know, right now in the chat, guys, welcome back to Marant's Rants. Plenty of good information, a little bit of motivation, whole lot of truth, no financial advice. This is the Josh Brown in the chat. He's a good-ass dude. And because he's got a good ass. He's a good-ass dude. That's just where it goes down. But my brother, how you been, man? I mean, other than that, the birthday's here. I pray you're not involved with this stock, man. If you are, it's cool. Maybe you got a good cost average. But it's going to be tough.
AMC? No, man. I actually bought a put today.
There you go.
We're talking about buying puts,
Yeah, I'm buying puts.
You're
exactly.
far out, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So I got a put, man. It was a good price. So I was like,
if you don't mind me asking, how much was it? Yeah, how much was it?
All right, so I got a put for December 16th. Let me look right now.
This is the first option that you bought. I think you're gonna make money, bro.
I know, man. I'm already up, man. I'm already up, bro. But I bought it for $15, December 16th.
Oh, hell yeah.
You brought it up, and that gave me confidence.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm going tomorrow. I'm going to get on Fidelity tomorrow, and I'm gonna buy some. So you just got to give me a second. We're working that out. I'm gonna put this in the chat. Come hang out. AMC safest space. And hopefully these guys can come over. Anybody can come over and chat. I'm not going to hold anybody down from coming up. Anybody can do whatever they want about this. And, I'm willing to take it all in the chin, literally. But it's cool, bro. Yeah, hold on 1 second. 1 second, brother. 1 second. I'm on my phone, and I'm on YouTube. I'm trying to coordinate everything. All right. So if you want to be a speaker, guys, it's very simple. If you're out there on YouTube, hi, you pimps. You guys can go ahead and get into Twitter, and I'll talk to you and ask any questions. You guys can ask any questions. Just let me give a breakdown really quick, Prince, and then I'll give you the floor. Guys, I was in a Twitter Spaces call again. I go out there. I'm just cruising the scene from call to call, relaxing before I go play my basketball. And I told my wife I can't go play ball because, you know what? I got to get this off my chest. These guys are absolutely, I don't want to use the word ignorant because that's tough, but they're just uninformed on how this is all going to play out. And for people to say you don't know how it's going to play out, yeah, I do. I mean, I equate it to a car crash, guys, and I always will. If you go 100 miles an hour into a brick wall, I know how it's going to play out if you're not wearing a seatbelt. It's really simple. But for them to say you don't know what's going to happen, yes, I do. I know that if you're walking in the rain and you don't have an umbrella, you're going to get wet. And in this case, if you think your stock is going to hold the liquidity after the cut, they're asking investors to pay off their mistakes and their bonuses. And they're doing that not with profits from the company. They make $0 and they haven't for years. So it's not the same. It's not. I hate when people try to compare the other stock with this one. This is an AMC safe space, guys. If you guys want AMC safe talk, I got you covered. But it's going to be too tough when people are out here trying to defend the wrong thing. But I appreciate everybody. And I'm going to pull up some people right now to speak, and I'll give you guys the floor for a minute as we go through it. But first up is going to be Prince. Prince, what's going on, babe?
Yo, Marant, thanks, bro. I saw you.
Coming in broken, Prince. Coming in broken. Get into a good spot. I'm going to let you do it. Yeah, it's coming in like a robot. If you got to drop down and drop back in, I'll let you do it. I don't have a problem with it. It's okay. I kind of get you sometimes. You said, I appreciate you. You're amazing. That's all I heard. I heard all the good stuff. None of the bad stuff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Listen, all I got a question is...
Oh, Adam, go ahead.
I love DRSing GME.
Sure.
I DRS at night. I DRS during the day. I watch your videos. Religiously.
Yes, sir.
And what I'm trying to say is there is no other method of approach.
Yes, sir.
Than DRSing GME.
Trust me, you guys are breaking me down. You guys are having me go. I put in 40. I put in 40 shares. That's like almost my whole flow.
No, yeah, and this is what I'm saying. I've been DRSing GME for the past year now, and I've never been happier. I mean, Ryan Cohen,
Yeah.
Look at him. This guy is built different. You know, he is transforming the company, and it's not just about me as an individual. It's about more than me. It's about the community. It's about everyone, the millions of people who are DRS, GME, and who want their own shares in their own name. That's why I am a certain follower and believer of not only the Marantz Rants YouTube channel, but Super Stonk and GME in general. Like, this movement is unheard of.
Thank you so much for that, Adam.
This movement is one of a kind, and
yeah,
the fact that you, Marantz Rants, put all of your time out of your day into these videos, into these videos that keep people going, that's what matters the most.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Hey, Adam, real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt, Adam. Did you get the Venmo money I sent you for all these great comments?
No.
No, it's a joke, man.
No,
I'm not paying you. You know that.
All you have to send me is love, man. Like,
I hear you.
We are in this together. Listen, we are in this together. We're fighting the biggest behemoth on Wall Street. You know, like, this shit isn't easy. But the fact that you are here to keep the community together, keep it moving, keep the DRS going. You know, like, look, we already have over 50% of the float locked up since September.
Yes, sir.
You know, like,
I'm aware of the number.
That shit's crazy.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy.
The estimate.
The fact that
yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
That you're here pushing these people, encouraging them, and informing them of what's actually going on. You know, that's the biggest blessing anyone can go through.
Appreciate that. I really appreciate that, Adam. It's going to get me through my night. We currently estimate about 51.4% of the float locked up in DRS. There's an additional 65 million shares floating around out there after the split. But if 65 million, if you think that's a lot, I know a lot of people, buddies of mine that have bought 3,000 this last week, and another guy bought another 1,000. So there's 4,000 I'll just chalk up to myself. But I talk to enough people. I try my best. But I try to keep it about GameStop, about AMC, whenever I do these safest spaces here. And Adam, this is the thing. People have a skewed way of viewing me and the content that I push. The reason why I am the way I am, I react to things. I rant about things. There is no script. Even in front of me now, I have no script. And people are afraid to do this. People are afraid if you're a YouTuber, you would never just go, let me go do a Twitter Spaces call and let me hold one. You let me know why, because you have to have an opinion on the spot, and then you also got to be able to take the counter on the spot, and then it's going to show who you really are. Well, who am I really? The same guy I've been since I started. I'm convinced on it that Wall Street is manipulating retail, period, and they're using it in a vehicle now called the Ape Equity Unit, and that thing right there is about to drive out liquidity from the stock itself. And these guys are saying to themselves, and this is what I was just told in this last call, was you don't lose a single dollar because they're going to give you the ape.
I agree with you 100%. AMC is a goddamn distraction.
Yeah.
It is a goddamn distraction. And what GME is, that they are so fucking scared of 100% float locked up. They are so fucking scared. And, like, to put it into perspective, AMC, if you look on any of their Reddit subboards, AMC, they are so anti-DRS. They are so anti-direct registering your shares in your own name, in your own social fucking security number, that they are willing to push all of these different stocks. And listen, I understand. It's a shorted meme basket. You know, it's a whole basket of stocks that's being shorted. But GME is the poster child. GME is the only stock that 50+% of the DRS numbers are in. There's a reason why there isn't 50+% AMC direct registered stock. Because, first of all, it's hard as fuck to direct register 500 million shares versus 60-something million shares pre-split. You know, so it is much more obtainable. That's why you don't hear about GameStop on the news at all.
No, I heard it today. They wanted to say it was down. They want to say it was down. But yeah, I hear you, Adam. I hear you. But hey, this is a safe space for AMC. I'm going to give them a chance to say what they can. I have a request for someone who wants to come up. Tony, I'm going to approve you right now. Big T, what's going on, man? How you feeling? Tony Hurd, you can unmute your mic and you're able to speak, brother. The floor is yours.
Oh, Adam. Okay, yeah. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I just want to say thank you first and foremost. Morant, you gave me a lot of information. Convinced me to, get out of AMC.
Whoa. Don't use the word convince. And gave you information is one thing, and you make the choice. But I hear you. I'm listening.
I was new to the market when I kind of jumped into AMC.
Okay.
Well, first of all, for me, this is very important to me, just because I really do want GME to pop and go up, and for Web3 to come about. For me, it's very, very important because I'm an American descendant of slavery, and like my people are essentially the first stock and bonds in the stock market, and we're the currency and the commodity in America, and essentially built the entire U.S. economy from 50 years of free labor. So when it comes to this corruption and America just effing the citizens over, like I feel that, and I really want this essentially a Wall Street what's it called, Occupy Wall Street 2.0 to kind of be successful. So definitely DRSing my GME shares. I'm buying as much as I can when I can, and let people know about AMC and about the corruption and about the U.S. kind of allowing all this corruption to happen. So yeah.
So let me ask you something, Tony. I know you're here. So you used to own AMC, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, and I got a question. Why'd you own it?
Again, I was new to the market. I kind of fell for a lot of manipulation, and I saw that it was cheaper. I didn't have much money at the time, and I was convinced that if something happened with GME, then it can happen with AMC as well, and it's cheaper and it's short interest. I'm seeing a movement. I'm seeing all these people. I definitely follow movements.
So like a mob mentality or a think group?
Yeah, it was definitely a think group, mob mentality. I saw the memes and stuff. I saw everybody was energized, and I kind of fell for the hype. So but I definitely was. I like movies, and I went to the AMC. I saw that they were empty and barren, and barely anybody was there. So I had doubts, and I definitely didn't trust any of the YouTubers. They were kind of throwing me off, and it takes a bit for me to trust. So I just needed some logic. I definitely need to go and study more, because again, I'm still new to the markets. I need to study and look at earnings and filings. I definitely when you were laying out what was going on with GME and what they plan to do is definitely has me wanting to support GameStop. But I think I answered the question as far as why.
No, I just try to get a good feeling, for people that say, hey, I sold or I got out. I didn't want them to think like, hey, well, this is a different run, right? GameStop's doing something great. I got to go over there. It's more I sold because, I understand that where it's headed, or I understand what's happening. I'm telling you, man, if people only really took the time to watch the show and or get the information, they would understand where we come from half the time. It's from a stance of, hey, educate yourself. I can't educate you all day long. Like, I can't take you by the hand and force you to drink the water. But if you don't really read it, if you're not understanding how liquidity, like right now I'm reading the filing, and it literally says there's $965 million cash, right? And you would say, well, that's a lot of money, Morantz. And these guys still have $1 billion. Well, how do you go in a 1 year span and you spend $1.1 billion? Like, they had $2 billion last year, but they offered up everything in the world to get there, and they still managed to burn off $1 billion. And you would say, well, how much debt did they pay off of that $1 billion? $72 million. They deferred a lot. They pushed out everything to 2029. But that kind of gives you the writing on the wall for it. He used a term in the interview, and he said, This is going to take bankruptcy off the table. And he's right. Like, his short-term problems are going to come off this table when the ape equity's there. But like I've said to everyone, ape equity is not worth a single dollar to the company. It's only worth to retail, the people who own the shares. And because the company doesn't own much. When you look at it, they have the ability to, and it's right up here in writing, guys. If you guys ever wonder, like when you look at this first page, if you come to the first page of the SEC filing, it'll have it right. I'll show it to you right now, right here. So if you're looking on YouTube, that's for the people that are looking on YouTube, and I have it highlighted. It tells you there's 516 million shares, but 524 are available. In addition to that, there is 50 million preferred stock units. And those 50 million preferred stock units have 100 votes tied to each one. So I would tell you that if you exercise 10 million, you already have 1 billion votes. Like, people need to know this number because that's what it takes to make, a decision on your investment. And then currently, and this is not, this is what will happen, this is what could happen. I don't know how these guys live this life. But when you're investing money in companies, shareholders should be your number one group that you're trying to make money for. Not that you're doing the best for, right? Like, I do the best for the customers. Customers come first. Or because you wouldn't have a business without customers. But besides that, you need to reward your shareholders. You need to take care of your employees. You need to respect your vendors. Then you need to obey the law. Like, this is all these things that come up, and you look at AMC, and I don't care how you cut that pie on those on the 10 commandments or the 5 commandments, whatever I come up with right there, they're obeying zero. They actually went against shareholders' will and request. He knew he couldn't get a vote passed in, so he did it himself, and he used a different vehicle to do it. So all I'm doing, and it's not that I care what you own or what you don't own. Anyone out there who wants to speak, you can request to come up. It is not about what you own and what you don't own. I don't care either way. I want you to have the information. That's it. That's what I'm here to do. I push out information. When I look at Highcroft, look at the investments under Highcroft. Unrealized gain on Highcroft is a negative of $16 million. Guys, they only paid $72 million in debt. Now you're in debt again on an investment. It's down. It's not coming back up because the business model that is Highcroft, when you did the homework, you knew what that was. That was a bailout within a 15-day bracket. They had basically 20 days to come up with the $50 million, or else Mudrick loses their position on Highcroft. So it's crazy. Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
With this 9+% CPI numbers that we're seeing.
Right. Well, tomorrow.
High inflation.
Tomorrow the number comes out. Yeah.
Well, I know the CPI numbers come out soon, aka what, tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow.
End of market?
Yeah. It'll be before market. It should be like during or before. Yeah, it's right there. It's right in the morning. It's early.
Yeah. And listen, Marantz, I've always looked up to you, but with these CPI numbers, with these inflation numbers, isn't gold a huge hedge? Like, I know, me personally, I'm all in GameStop. I'm DRS'd. 90% of my shares are DRS'd, and 10% are in shares in Fidelity for the benefit of the doubt, right?
Sure.
Because I don't even fucking trust Fidelity, to be frank.
You made that very clear. You made that very clear when you're saying DRS.
Yeah, I don't trust Fidelity because at the end of the day, they're a member of the Depository Trust Clearing. And what I'm trying to say is gold a good hedge against inflation? If AMC somehow bought Highcroft Mining, or a good stake at least,
yeah,
is that like a good hedge against inflation? In terms
May I say something?
Sure, Dis.
There's been a lot of gold recently discovered in Uganda.
Yep.
So if gold is supposed to be a great hedge, why not invest in all the new mines that are going to happen over there, as opposed to a defunct mine where they're not doing anything.
Yeah, no, you know that part. Like I can make that argument when I go like this. You're talking about gold in general, but you can't do that in this case because this is not gold. This is a company, and they don't mine at all. So unless you plan on going long, which you don't have the time to go long, well, you didn't until you made the ape equity. Now you're going to sit here and you're going to understand how bad of a business that is. You know, Dr. Diane Garrett ran a huge nickel mine in the northeast, or in the north, I should just say in Canada. And they had this idea that the nickel mine was going to have more nickel than anything because of e-vehicles. You need the nickel to make the batteries, and it's the largest nickel deposit in America, and this is going to be a $1 billion company. And she used to make the same proclamations that she's making now about her current company. And it's the same thing. And I don't care how much is in the ground. It's how much does it cost you to get it up. And I remember we had this conversation about amethyst. So amethyst is a rock that in the past had a huge value because they didn't have a lot of it. And then somewhere in the world, they found a cave full of amethyst, like beyond the amount you could ever imagine. It diluted the amount of amethyst on the world. And that in turn made it pennies. It was only worth a penny at this point. It's why it's one of the cheapest rocks you can find. And you're like, okay, well, now it's not worth anything. So what Dizzy's telling you is there was this report that Uganda has this crevice of gold that they found. And everyone's talking about the price of gold going down ever since that announcement. Now, can they go grab it? Have they gotten it out of the ground? No, but they're aware it's there. But the value of gold is pretty much priced in. And I tell you this only because if you think it's the hedge to what inflation is, I would tell you people are investing into crypto, investing into Ethereum, things that can't be manipulated. When you know the total amount that's possible out there, you can increase the amount of gold on this planet once you find more, right? We haven't found it all, but it is out there. And we haven't mined it all, I should say. So they went ahead, they didn't buy a mining company. They invested money into one. And all that means is they hold a seat on the board, and they might get some profits away from it if it ever makes a profit. But if you've checked the track record since 2017, the only profit, remember this, when the company has money, right? Let's just go say they sell like $1,000 worth of gold, or I don't know, $1 million worth of gold. It doesn't even matter. Whatever profit the company makes, AMC's not getting a clean cut profit off of that. They own shares of that company. They don't own the cash that comes into it. There's a very big difference from companies that buy companies instead of companies that invest in companies. So whenever people are telling you this report like, hey, AMC bought a mining company, or hey, there's other companies out there that buy companies all the time. Yeah, they buy them because they get a portion of their revenue. In this case, they get $0 of their revenue. It wouldn't even matter. It's all about earnings reports and how much investors want to put in. And if you knew what I know and what you know about AMC, well, the insiders hold none. They have 50, 60 employees max, and they're worth about $144 million on a market cap, when previously they were selling at 29 cents a damn share. So to go from the $121, $119 a warrant and share that AMC spent, and to see it go under $1, I don't think those investors understand it's an investment. It's not a possession. So that's where it comes into play. You guys really got to know what the hell's happening with that investment and why it's not going to pan out. But that's another whole story. This is the safest space for AMC investors. I want you guys to know that the vehicle to drive equity away from said shares is going to happen right in front of you. That's the scary part. And I wish everyone the best of luck. I do, because I want you guys to know that if you have a cost-based average, X, Y, and Z, and you're up 100% right now, that's going to get diluted. Now, let's talk that out really quick. And I know I have some speakers in here, or if you're going to request, you can request and you come up. Here's how the dilution is going to work. And I wish people could look at this, because the shareholders themselves are not going to lose money initially. Come August 19th, when this stock goes live, this additional ticker goes live, you're not going to lose $1. You, AMC, the investor. What you're going to do is you're going to have the opportunity to make some money. And the money you make, well, it's going to go towards AMC. And how? How could it ever? It does not have a value. AMC doesn't have any ape. You do, you investors out there. So when Adam Aaron tells you he plans to dilute and sell it off, what the hell does that mean to you? I mean, how much time do you have until he announces, until he does it, and until it runs for you, and where are you going to find your profit in it? But remember, it's cutting AMC in half right there on the spot, right when it gets released, because it's not an IPO, it's not a company, it doesn't have earnings, it doesn't have a P&L. It's plain as day for you guys. It's fascinating for me. You guys ask me, why do I hold Spaces calls? Why do I go over AMC? Because I'm fascinated by cults. I'm fascinated by mobs. I'm fascinated by groupthink. You look at these groups of people that just come out and repeat the same catchphrase, the same hotline. It reminds me of sports fans, delusional sports fans that say their Dallas Cowboys are going to go 17-0. And you're like, there's no way. There's only been one team in the history to go undefeated, the whole way through. There's been two for the whole regular season. And you think your one stock's going to do this? I mean, you guys, what I read today was unbelievable. Said they're going to split the stock, dilute the ape unit up to 300 million units, and then inverse vote to make them shares and do a share buyback the other way, a reverse split. There was like 10 chess moves in one tweet. And I'm just like, that's crazy. Because if that were the case, really? Would all the insiders, guys, who have had this clause available to them since day one, would all the insiders sold all their shares? That's just a question I have to ask. Or did they know this game plan going in? They knew they had this clause available to them. They knew how this was going to play out. They planned this out the whole way. Sell all your shares, guys. Sell them all now. Because at the end, we're going to go ahead and release it as an ape unit. We're going to go ahead and dilute that, and we'll get our money back on it. They're still not increasing the float, right? So compensation packages for insiders and senior officers how are they going to get paid? How are they going to get their bonuses? How are they going to get their PSUs and their RSUs that they get annually, which they do? How? They got to dilute. And they're going to do it without your vote. And they're going to use the ape unit to vote for it. Oh, Moritz, you can't say that. You don't know. Nah, I don't know. A lot of you guys are street smart. A lot of you guys are street smart. A lot of you guys grew up like I did, where you could see the full coming. And if you didn't know it, then it's you. You see the hustle coming. That's why crank phone calls don't work. Scams will never work. If you got scammed any time in your life, I don't give a shit if it's for like some loot on WoW. If you got scammed, it's because you didn't come up the right way. I was scamming. I was ninjing items on WoW. I was doing those things. Yeah, back in my 20s. I wouldn't do that now, guys. I respect everybody. But I tell you this for a reason, because if you guys can't see what's happening in front of you, and I'm going to let you speak right now, A-Base, you're going to get a chance. But if you guys don't see what's happening in front of you, this is a straight up pimp move. They don't give a shit what you say. You said you didn't want dilution? It's all right. We got another vehicle to drive it out of you. And it's right here in front of you. Ace, you have the floor. I don't care what you say. I don't care how you say it. It is yours to do. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel, brother. Go.
Hey, thanks so much. I love the energy here.
Yes, sir.
I'm a unique ape. I'm a realist.
Okay.
AMC, the theater company, is not worth $10 billion.
Correct. Okay, I like that. We're starting off good right now.
They're losing $500 million a year. What's a company that's losing $500 million a year with a complete ceiling on how much revenue they can produce based on limited seatings and limited concessions, because they can only sell concessions to, the number of patrons that they can accommodate. They're talking about Uber Eats popcorn. No one's going to spend $20 to Uber Eats popcorn to their house.
Cold popcorn.
We're talking about a credit card that's going to yield a ton of revenue, and comparing it to Delta's credit card that makes billions of dollars a year. Well, Delta's credit card's been around for 50 years, and they have miles that they use. So it's a different business. However, what is your thoughts on the naked shorts that exist? Because they do exist, right? I mean, we can call them synthetics, we can call them naked. There are naked shorts that market makers brokered when these
meme stocks mooned the last time they squeezed. Hedge funds, BlackRock, whoever, they did take positions on shorting these stocks. They did. You'd be a fool not to short AMC when it hit $70 or GME when it hit $400.
Yeah,
right?
So I'll answer. I mean, I'll give you my idea of it.
Sure.
Well, one, I can't prove that there's any shorts at all, right? I mean, I go off of Adam Aaron's tweet where he says we've counted the stock 6 times and we can't prove anything beyond that. But you wouldn't be able to because nobody has to report a naked short.
Correct.
But I feel, and this is a feel, and it's okay to have feelings out here, guys, although it is facts. Whenever short hedge funds see a stock, like when they did with Herbalife, Tesla, I'm thinking about things that split that were widely known being short. And then, of course, even like GameStop, you have a new short the whole way down. So it's not like the original shorts are the ones getting clipped the whole way through for the whole year. I hate it when people say, well, they were short then and they never covered. Like at some position, people are covering but back and forth to each other, even if that were the case. Even if it's like a game of hot potato where they're just passing it around. But to anticipate that the short is that drastic, I can give you this. When it ran, Mudrick was able to go ahead and get shares out of AMC direct, to cover anything. It wouldn't matter if it's to cover short or not. You can get shares out of these guys. So I don't think, and this is just me, that the short squeeze thesis that people have it played out like it's an infinite amount or it's a billions and billions. I don't think it goes that way. I think people are doing the math wrong. The math is skewed because of the float. The float increased from October to now a drastic amount. And I would say, and I'm saying October 2020 to, let's go with June of 2021. When it went from 100 million all the way up to 500 and where it's at right now, 516, 515 at the time, 513. So when floats are adjusting, you can't depict what's volume, what's short, what's not, because it's still adjusting, like it's still at the market. If I give you the case in point, HYMC. HYMC is expanding their float as we speak. They keep offering shares to the public, and that's widely known. So that's why their float increased. And people were thinking, well, wait a minute, they're trading so much more than what it is. And it got all the way up to $3 off of that idea. And then they were like, well, wait a minute, that's not true. That's not what's really happened because it's always reported late. So as you get your report late, then you're like, oh, it's not that bad. Me personally, I don't think anything's short on AMC other than what's reported. And that's just me personally because I think there's enough there. I think there's enough there, enough liquid to get in and out of it.
I agree. I think there's enough there. Do you think that's what caused the spike in March?
Yeah, well, not March. You're talking about this March?
Yeah, when it went to like in the 30s.
$34? No.
Yeah,
I have a whole theory. I have a whole theory on that. So my theory on a spike in AMC anytime is the offset of what GameStop's doing. So I feel it's a hedge to GameStop, and it's been proven through the swap theory if you're reading some D&D. But to break it down, you have to have a long versus your short. So if you're short on a company, you have to have collateral long. And your long collateral in this case would be AMC. And if I could convince the whole world to buy AMC, well, then I'm sitting in the bed with them. So if I'm a wolf and I'm able to just creep around with the sheep like I can, and I can hide within the flock, then that's AMC. They literally are paying people, paying publications, paying YouTubers, and I know it. Hello, I'm a YouTuber. You don't think what's been said, and guess what? And I don't even shed light to it. I don't. Because if you don't think they're paid, you're out of your mind. You could be manipulated to the point you don't even know it. Have you ever seen that? Well, it's the true a psychological difference here is they're using media to manipulate you. And short hedge funds manipulate outcomes and they manufacture outcomes. That's how it works. So when you're looking at this as hey, I see a spike in AMC, there's a reason why both got halted together every single time from now on, ever since June. In June 2nd, June 3rd, AMC got halted at one point. And when it got halted, GameStop took off for 30 minutes. GameStop took off like you've never seen it take off because one is anchoring the other. Every morning they anchor each other. Every night, you name it, it happens. One is holding each other down. And it's too easy for me. It's too easy for me to know which one it is. There's only one company here that's possible. Yeah, what's up?
The halts are all pre-programmed. someone sitting behind a desk halting the stock. The stocks are being halted when they move 5% in 5 minutes.
I'm aware of how you're looking at it that way, but the amount of volume that comes in and out of one versus the other is that mind-boggling. Do you know how they mimic algos? Have you seen that yet? And of course you have. They'll be like, hey, they move the same. The liquidity within them is not the same, but they move the same. So it will take 100 million shares of AMC to trade to mimic what GameStop's doing with 6 million. That was last Friday, last Thursday. Like this is night and day. This is so easy, and people have yet to see the truth. They think.
Let me ask you a loaded question.
Sure.
Do you think spike between now and August 22nd based on hype and apes buying, etc.?
Yeah, see, when it splits, I don't think apes are buying. You see, this whole phrase of apes, and I don't think retail moves this stock at all. I don't think retail can move a stock. Not at all.
But there's 4 million.
Is there?
Yeah, there's 4 million shareholders.
No, is there though?
I mean, that's what they're reporting, right?
That's what Adam Aaron reports.
When they count it, I mean, that means.
So 4 million shareholders, and it's just like if you said there was 4 million people that hold Bitcoin, who holds the most? What's the leverage?
Right.
Like
the institutions.
Yeah, so when you're thinking about, hey guys, we move this stock, why can't I just go join the side with the strong guys? We're playing tug of war, and I'm the strongest guy in the room. Why can't I just go onto the string where everyone else is pulling? And now I'm going to make them think they're just as strong. You get that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll share. I'll give you kind of my 30.
I'm listening, brother. I'm listening. It's your space.
I personally think that a lot of people are going to be disappointed. This MOAS, this AMC is going to 100K. These people are delusional. They have no idea of how equity markets work, valuations, etc. I think there should be a squeeze between now and the 22nd, and I think after the 22nd, the stock price between APE and AMC is going to be significantly lower than what it is on the 15th, which is the cutoff of the APE dividend deadline. I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed. I think people have put their life savings in this thinking they're going to hit the lottery. And when there is no MOAS, there's going to be a problem. But I still think there's opportunity to leverage the hype and the market sentiment on AMC and have it spike a bit. I think it could go in the mid-30s, maybe even 40. But that's kind of like my personal opinion, not financial advice for anyone on the call.
Not at all. Not at all. But let me ask you something. How high do you think it runs until Adam Aaron puts the clamps on it?
I think a lot of people are delusional. I don't think they understand that the minute Adam Aaron says that there's going to be a raise with APE, that they don't realize the stock's going to plummet. As soon as you mention fundraising, the stock will plummet. The minute you say the fundraising is over, the stock could stabilize. And then once you actually use the funds to pay off debt or buy a unicorn or whatever you plan on doing with it, then the stock could rise. But the minute you mention fundraising, everyone that's smart is going to dump.
Yeah, well, it's not just everyone's going to. It's going to be the people that can afford to dump, right? So you, as an investor, whomever you may be, you probably are tied in, because if I look at the chart right now, I have it up on YouTube. You're currently within the spike range of January 2021 on this stock. You're not near the whole 6 months that it took to burn off the 72 all the way down. So it took them 6 months to get the hell out of that and get you right back under control. That's possibly the time when most people that are currently here still are talking about this, talking about the moon, talking about forever, because that's the perfect time to manipulate someone, when it's going to the moon and you're a YouTuber and you're selling it on the backside. No matter how you got your money, no matter what you're getting paid for. I've talked to numerous people who say they got in because of Lou, because of Matt, because of Trey, because of the motivation that those guys gave and the theories they gave, which were all flawed. And it's unfortunate.
You'd be shocked if you saw the DMs and I'm not a big deal, I'm a small fry on the internet, but you'd be shocked at the DMs that I've gotten from ex-apes who have been rope-a-doped by the Jay Browns and David V. Goliaths and
Oh, God.
Marvels of the world.
Hey, Neb, check this out, brother.
Shocked.
I'm not shocked. Do you know how many people DM me? Do you know how many messages I get?
More than me, I'm sure.
Yeah. Do you know how many people I've changed? And what I mean by changed, I've opened the eyes just by speaking about it. And people don't know why I do this. People think I'm just like this fucking freight train of info, and they think I'm there to smash their ideas, and it's none of the above. I will give you every ammo, every chance you can to speak your part, but whenever I'm giving you factual numbers, I just ask you take basic reasoning and calculate your own risk. And if you can afford to go all in at 150 grand, 200 grand with your grandmother's life savings, and you think it's going to go to 10,000 a share, there are numbers before 10,000 that you'll never get to. There are numbers before 70 that people will gut you dry. Adam Aaron.
You will never see 50.
That's my point. And I don't want to say never because I've seen it, but I will tell you, Adam Aaron won't allow it. Adam Aaron won't allow it. There's not the liquidity that was in this stock as it once was.
Absolutely not.
It's pumped. It's gone.
And that was the point you were trying to make in David V. Goliath's space. Which, by the way, what a disingenuous waste of time that was.
Oh, my God. I loved it.
Talk about fact. Yeah, it was revealing.
You got to hand it to him, though. He's brilliant. He was on the verge of bankruptcy, and a bunch of online warriors pumped a stock. He was able to do a really nice raise to give him a year and a half runway, and now he just created another vehicle to raise additional.
Hey, Base, that's not brilliant. He's not even. It's not. It's a clause. Hold on. I'm going to tell you. It's a clause that's not even his. Right? This was already on the books before him. This is a guy who's been directed what to do.
He called it a, he's telling people, he's indirectly saying that it's going to be a share account. He's, appeasing his audience to get the end result he's looking for, which is liquidity to hopefully one day be in the black.
It's going to be Julius Caesar all over again. I'm telling you. Here's what happens. You can tell me anything you want to tell me. It's going to make me feel good and fuzzy today. But when it actually happens to you, it's going to hurt. And I know how do you know? All that shit that people want to talk in here and you can't ever give an opinion. The opinion is factual when you look at a track record of a human. I'm going to tell you something, A-Base. It does not take a genius to do spaghetti leadership, okay? Spaghetti leadership is when you come up with a million ideas and you throw that plate of spaghetti against the wall and you see what sticks. So when you're right there shouting, we have a partnership with GameStop coming. We have a partnership with the NFL. We're going to do MMA fights. We're going to sell popcorn. We're going to deliver popcorn. Register with Say Technologies. We're going to figure out the share count. We're going to give you more NFTs for free, guys. It's all here. We have the largest war chest of all time. We have the most movies. We have the theatrical day release that we negotiated, which they did not. It was all movie theaters that negotiated, not just him. They have so many ideas out here. Buying, investing into gold mines, and now in turn buying better projectors and spending money that they don't have. Adam Aaron is a teenager with a credit card, and he's maxed out. And he's going to go to you, and he's going to ask you for a favor. And you don't even get to vote on it. You have to do it. That is the slap in the face.
That's 100% correct, I think. And I think it's pretty obvious why you're suddenly seeing all this paranoia from the David V. Goliaths of the world. And I think in the back of their mind, they surely know that all of that verbiage around the ape, quote-unquote, dividend is it's Adam Aaron all but renting an airplane to fly over Manhattan that says, I'm going to dilute you with a sign trailing behind the aircraft. It is more or less what he has done. It's pretty clear what's going to happen because he's ultimately beholden to bondholders. What he's going to do is fleece these knuckleheads for the sake of the bondholders. It's radically apparent. He's all but issued a statement saying as much. He more or less did say as much on that call. And when he says, I'm going to restructure our balance sheet, what is he talking about? He's going to blow up that ape thing, pay off a bunch of debt, and the underlying equity is going to be worth almost nothing. These people are about to get wiped out, and they must know in the back of their mind that's going to happen.
Anybody looked at the puts for end of August?
One second, A-Base. I haven't, but I'm going to let Dizzy say her piece. Dizzy, what's going on, girl?
Hey, Marantz. My question is, what is your theory, or why do you think people have an emotional connection with the AMC stock in the face of logic, in the face of repeated behavior from the CEO, where they don't want to believe what they're seeing? I'm just trying to understand, because for me, okay, a company is a company. You know what? Honest to God, if Ryan Cohen started acting weird and diluting, and the leadership sold, and GME started doing crazy things, like, of course I'd sell, because you've lost my trust at that point. So why is that type of just like logical deduction not happening on the AMC side? Why are these investors based completely on feelings and like echo chamber?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
After a year and a half of this shit, I've kind of made, and I'm not a psychologist by any stretch of imagination, but I've made a pretty detailed amateur's study of the mentality behind these people. And I think we live in a pretty disjointed society where everybody's kind of primarily only connected to other people by way of social media, and people have this sense that they don't really belong to anything meaningful in our society because we kind of live in a kind of a weird society, and so they really want to feel like they're part of something. And the AMC movement and Adam Aaron specifically have crafted a narrative where you're part of something bigger. You're fighting the man. You're sticking it to Wall Street. You're fighting the shorts. You're part of something bigger than yourself, and that is intoxicating to the average person. Because frankly, we live in a society where real wages are been depressed for a long time, where people don't have a lot of security about their retirement, and Adam Aaron is making millions and millions of dollars, profiting on that financial insecurity that frankly almost all of us have. And he's making a lot of money off it. So when I get told by these AMC ape types, like, why do you care, Nebbiolo, about what I do with my money? Frankly, I think once you're in the cult, I don't care what you do with your money because I think you're pretty fucked. But I think it is important that we speak a little bit of truth to the sleight of hand that Adam Aaron is engaged in. And frankly, I do think what he is doing, if it's not criminal, it's clearly unethical. And I think someday Wharton Business School is going to have a whole semester dedicated to this last 2 years.
Well, thank you for that answer. I'll let you know how I view it, Diz. It's really elementary. People don't like to be wrong. And, I mean, shit, I get in an argument with my wife all the time. She'll be like, hey, didn't I tell you? I'm like, you didn't tell me. And, she probably did, but I don't remember. So some of that stuff, like it's just that elementary, that childish to think you could go to an AMC investor and give them every reason in the world. You can show them profits, losses. You can show them a better investment. And it's not that they're following the thought process of, hey, man, we're dedicated. We're diamond hands. It's none of the above. It's just you have blinders on with cotton in your ears, and you're refusing. You're refusing to even put logic into the conversation. So for me personally, yes, whatever happens, happens. Do I want it to happen? Absolutely not. I do not want a single person out there to lose a single dollar. So I do spaces calls like this where it's the safest space in the world for them. Come in, say how you feel, but get some information, like get the temperature of the room, and then maybe I get one person. And not that I get you to go sell your position, no. Just one person to open up their eyes and ears to, hey, I can make a better decision today. Then to follow the mob. You see a line, right? And then some people just get in line and then they ask around, what's this line for? Rather than to go find out what the line is for because they're afraid they're going to miss something. This whole theory of FOMO, the fear of missing out, is a childish way of chasing stocks and losing money. If someone is in a play and or in an investment and they got in early, I want you to walk over and I want you to pat them on the back and say congratulations. That's it. That's the way you live life. You don't go and put your hands up and say, you know what? I want to go get that too. It's not made for everybody. GameStop's not made for everybody. Right now, people are saying, I can't get in because it already split. And I'm telling you, it's the best price possible because most of us have been buying it every day we can, no matter where it's at. Because when you have a value for yourself and what you're invested in, it's okay. And you know what? You're right. It's about trust, Diz. Not a single person in this room is going to put money into Robinhood. Vlad couldn't get $1 from you. You wouldn't buy it even if it went up $5 and it didn't. It's going to go on a $5 run today. They could go tell you that and you still wouldn't out of principle. Most of you. I would assume most of you. But for me, personally, Ryan Cohen can lose every bet. Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you this before I let I know I'm going to have another speaker here by compliance, and I welcome you guys to the chat or welcome you guys to ask to come up. But I'm going to tell you guys why I'm investing into GameStop and why it worries me some for those followers that I do have. And is there a responsibility to give them the info? Always, right? Just like I'm not Tara, where Tara says, no responsibility to tell my followers. Okay, girl. Listen. If GameStop doesn't make it out of this pivot, if GameStop fails, I'm okay. I'm okay because Ryan Cohen is 36 years old with billions of dollars on the line, reputation on the line, and this is me. I feel that leadership, if they failed, they would try again. And they would try again, and they would try again. They're not estate planning. They're not planning for the inevitable. They're literally trying to have a better business every day. And they're doing it with their own money, not someone else's. Not me, the investor. My money's still sitting there on the books. Cash on hand, GameStop still has value. Just cash on hand, let alone assets and projected earnings. So I know it's a great business. I know the e-commerce footprint is there, and I know it's churning. But when I go look at an investment where it's none of their money, none of the insiders have cash on hand, none of the insiders are using their own money. The risk is your money, not their own. Now they don't have an inherent vehicle to drive them to do better, to work harder. The incentive is not there. That is a huge void for me. Any company that pays their executives X, Y, and Z, you will see investors question it. And in this case right now, they don't until a vote came up. They lost the vote, the board of directors did, and then they pounced. And they didn't pounce on shorts. They didn't pounce on Wall Street. No. They partnered up with Wall Street. And now they're going to pounce on the equity that they can get from said shares. It's going to drain it from them. And even though you're the only ones that hold ape retail, be proud to own it. But it can get diluted at the drop of a dime with no one's vote. So I wish everyone the best of luck. But I'm going to go ahead and hear you guys out. If you have something great to say, come on up, put your hand up, and I'll let you have the floor. Compliance, you're up, man. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel. We held no opinions. It's yours. Are you there, Compliance? You can unmute yourself. If not, we'll go with Tony Hurd. Tony Hurd, I heard you. What's up?
Yeah, I wanted to go back to a question that Dizzy asked. I wanted to give another perspective on her question as far as why do AMC, people in AMC kind of fall for that. And again, I'm just going to speak for, my ethnic group as far as being an American Negro. At the end of the day, like, my people are essentially, I know like in Florida are worth like -$1. I know like 80% of the homeless in California are American Negroes and, absolute poverty. So when you have this app, Robinhood app, that makes it easy to access the stock market where you can buy stocks, and you're in such poverty, you can barely, pay car notes, barely feed your kids and pay rent. When you're in that kind of poverty, you sort of fall for anything. So a lottery sounds really good, or you get a cousin that tell you about AMC and they don't really know what they're talking about. They'll easily fall for it. So that's just another perspective as far as, just people in poverty will fall for, just about anything as far as trying to make money. So
yeah, that's a damn good point. And that's why people buy lottery tickets.
Yeah, it's, the Scratcher crew. I'm sorry I missed it. I've got a new phone here.
It's all right.
And I'm trying to switch around. I'm like, oh my God, they're calling me. So I'm trying to get the app opened up and everything. And it's just a little bit.
You're fine, Compliance. The floor is yours, and then we'll go to Mom's Spaghetti because I'm nervous.
So what I was only going to bring up is so I worked in the back office of hedge funds for most of my life or most of my career, and people think it's nefarious and that you're up to all this kind of crap, but really you're just trying to survive and have a job like anybody else. I mean, there are some more, I would say, more focused hedge funds that do go after companies and aggressively short them. I mean, if they're worth beating up on and putting your money to, then they should be beat on, right? So I just wanted to kind of point out that not everybody who works in the industry. I mean, I lost my job 3 times working in different hedge funds, and it wasn't seriously like as glamorous a career as you thought. We lived across the street from the Occupy protest for however long that thing took, and it was pretty dirty, and it just wasn't a great experience. And if they found out who we were going to get, cremated in some tent. So it just was a weird experience. But one of the things that I was going to say is that importantly is that the apes seem to have, and they go off into these tangents now about market structure, and then more specifically about things that are like settlements and how FTDs matter and all this. And that was my primary job in for 4 or 5 years working inside the P&S department of a brokerage firm, and they make up stuff and have no idea what they're talking about. And they talk about FTDs, they talk about people getting margin calls. Well, you get bought in before you get a margin call typically. So they don't really even know like what the market mechanics are yet. Everybody can pontificate on them like they're some known book to everybody, but it's not. So that's my only point, is that these people talking about market mechanics don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I get sick of hearing it. I wish I could tell them, but again, I'm blocked by everybody on the planet. So
no, I hear you. So I welcome you to that. And I thank you so much for your experience.
You're welcome.
And
I'll drop down and
you're always welcome to this chat. You know that, Compliance. You and I have been a part of a couple of great conversations out here on Twitter. And I have up on the screen right now an indicator that shows you AMC currently, the 500-day EMA, they're trading above that, but the 200-day EMA is below that, and so is the 50-day. And what that means is that the true level of support for AMC has been sold off over the last 200 days and the last 50 days. So there are levels of what they would call support for AMC, and you would see it falling down to around $19 right now. And this is pre-split. So anything can happen, and I'm not saying that it's not going to go through the moon anytime soon, but if it did, how long would Adam Aaron wait before he dilutes his stock? That's my honest question. But right now, the floor, or if you had anything to say, Compliance, you can.
No, I was listening to another space earlier, and I don't know if you heard this, but it was incredible. These guys are like, they don't know what's going to happen on Monday. And some of them are seriously expecting that they're going to get millions of dollars in their brokerage accounts on Monday as a result of getting ape.
Yeah, no. It's not going to change. It doesn't change.
It's not going to change the economic value of the position one bit.
No, their equity's the same.
And people are yet expecting they're expecting it to moon on this. And to be honest, I mean, I'd love, Spencer and some of those guys were talking about, let's put this all on T0, or I mean, if they try some alternate exchange to what the New York Stock Exchange, you've effectively shut out 50% of your investors.
Well, it would never happen that way. I mean, this is something that's been there. See, I have the idea that he's known that he was going to do it this way the whole time. So that's why he lifted the clause for corporate leadership as far as mandatory holdings for them for 13 months. Yeah. He allowed his insiders and the senior officers to sell off as much as they could for that 13-month period, then put the clause on, and then he was going to the table with dilution, and they didn't want that. So he said, okay, I have another vehicle to drain it. So they want to drain this stock because at $22, what's that company worth, right? That company's not worth more than $3 a share.
How many companies out there issue preferreds? I mean,
10 million preferred.
I mean, but a preferred stock in my world, those typically were bank-issued stocks. It's essentially a perpetual bond.
Right. Well, what it's supposed to be is last resort, because they hold 100 votes per share. So if you're going to sell those off or offer them to anyone, I don't care who you do it to, you got to be very careful that they'll take control of your company. And this is why certain people increase floats, certain companies increase floats, so that you can't have a centralized ownership of shares and you then in turn can't get taken over. The reason why GameStop had such a recipe for Ryan Cohen and RC Ventures to come in is because they had a relatively small float. And what Ryan Cohen did by giving a 4-to-1 is allowing himself some line of security. And I wish people saw that from that standpoint, but AMC doesn't have that luxury. What they have is a 500 million float that they're willing to expand just to survive. It is a very big difference.
My guess is that he was probably levered into doing this by the bondholders. I bet you, knowing that they're inching closer and closer to debt covenants. Gordon Johnson actually looked this up, that when they get to about $500 million with a B in cash on hand, they're in violation of debt covenants. They're about a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half away from that happening. And so I bet you what happened is there's probably somebody who has the finger on the trigger of one of those debt covenants who said, Adam, it's time for you to raise some more cash, bro. And I bet you that's what has happened here.
Well, here's what it is. I don't want to assume. They have a covenant of 144, right? So $144 million what they need on cash on hand this year. But come next year, it's all the way to the amount of $650 million. So if you know how much they have and you know what the cash burn is for quarter 3, and you can ballpark that any way you want to cut it, they just had the best quarter ever, and they still burned off $200 million. Like, because, Top Gun, whatever it may be. So, and they only paid $72 million. So you tell me how it works. But they're going to run out of cash, and this is the only way they can get cash. But that's just it, and that's not there. But that's neither here nor there. Mom Spaghetti, you are up, Mom Spaghetti. And I want to thank you for the chat. Thank you for the time. Come on in. And Compliance, if you can mute yourself, because there's a little bit of static in the background. Love you, brother.
Sorry, but
No, you're good. Go ahead, Mom Spaghetti. You're up.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Absolutely.
Hey, how's it going?
There's vomit on my sweater.
There you go. I just wanted to touch on a question that Dizzy asked, and like, why are so many people, I guess, invested in AMC? In the face of all the evidence or all the what's the word?
Logic,
Reason.
Yeah, the
evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, argument or evidence against it, right? This is my opinion. This is my opinion based on what I've seen. And it's 2 reasons. It's one, there was literally a CNBC documentary called How the AMC Apes Cracked Wall Street that came out last year. That's nearing in on like 1.5 million views on YouTube. I want to say that's got to be a part of it, right? Because if you're watching CNBC, like a lot of people are, you probably caught wind of that. And if you are one of those people, then you're looking at this stock versus something like GME, and you're looking at a price that's $10, $15, $20 in AMC. And if you're buying into that, then you're fighting Wall Street with AMC. That's a $10 stock. So to me, like I said, it's my opinion. Maybe a lot of people are buying into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
well,
that's my opinion anyway. And I hope Marantz, like you said, I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, because I have friends, like people that I know in real life, whatever you want to call it, in person, good people that are invested in this, and I hope I'm wrong. But I feel like that's got to be a big part of it. It's as shitty as it is, we're not supposed to, me and you, Marantz, or me and you, Dizzy, like we're little guys. Like, we're not supposed to make it big. We're not supposed to make the money and become rich. And yeah, this is mainstream media pushing AMC. You know what I mean? Like, it's bought and paid for, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, Mom Spaghetti, I'm gonna tell you something. The value of what makes me rich or not is not money. So I hear you on that. But I've been rich my whole life, with health, with love, with support. That's how I value it. So that's why I'm numb to most of this. This losing potential to lose on your investment, because I don't risk that. I don't risk my family's safety ever. I'm not overextended. I have plenty in there, but it's not enough to cripple me. And the reason behind that, and it's just like everyone else, is, well, one thing, to answer your question, the Stockholm Syndrome, right? Like, you could get beat every day of your life and you'll still stay with that guy. Some women do. Some men do. Like, whoever. You could get verbally abused and you still stick around. There's kids that get abused every day and they still go back. It's not that. It's not. They just don't know any better. It's an education. And that's why we have these calls. And that's why we have, somebody asked me, Terrible asked me on my last Spaces call. She goes, Rance, you never hold Spaces calls for GameStop. And I was like, I do every week. And then she's like, well, how many people would go to them? And I was like, well, we get 1,000 people a day. They go every day to YouTube, right? I mean, that's a Spaces call. We have the same energy, the same idea that you can to have, to get some education. And I'll tell you right now, I'm infinitely more, no matter how much money I've made on the market and or investing throughout my lifetime, I'm so much more educated today than I was 2 years ago because I literally eat, sleep, and breathe it from others. And it's not that we have this echo chamber. I'm really subjective to info. When I get it, I process it. When I get it, can I just go spit it out and make sure it's right? Like, who do I trust? How can I tell people this is what it is if I don't do the due diligence? And there is zero DD being done by a massive crowd that is just into groupthink. So I would tell you, Dizzy, and I'm going to tell you too, Mom Spaghetti, the reason why anyone's willing to take it to the death. I mean, I have a coworker right now who tells me, I don't care what it is, Marantz, I'm writing it to the ground. And I said, well, okay. Like, I'm trying to help. You know what he did? He went and deleted Twitter. He deleted Reddit. And he still has his shares. Now, there's a believer. There's a guy I say, wow, there he goes. He's a true believer. He's ignorant. He doesn't care about his money. And I told him, throw your money on the floor. You got a better chance. But you guys can't close your ears to it. You can't close your eyes to it. There's plenty of smart people out here. I'm not saying I'm one of them. I'm just letting you know that I have the info. I'll try to push out what I can. But I stick around in spaces calls like this where I surround myself with a lot of smart people. Not like-minded people, smart people that come from different fabrics in life. And we're all cut from a different cloth. But we're all here for the same reason. We're all trying to find out what is really happening. So there's guys out here like Logan, right? He's in the chat right now. Logan, I'm going to give you 2 minutes of fame while you cry. Logan, I would encourage you to request to speak. This is the type of guy I am. I will never shy away from one person that wants to speak their mind. And if you have the ability to articulate the speech with respect, you're welcome to it. But that's how the space calls are held. Myself and Dizzy have been doing these for a while. So you're more than welcome to do it rather than bash people via Twitter with a faceless tweet and senseless information. Come on up and make your argument verbally, and you're more than welcome to it. The next person with their hands up was Brody. Brody, are you there? Because I'm not going to say the whole damn name. But Brody, what's going on, babe? Brodesius. Okay, there you go.
The faceless basher on Twitter, but I do have a kind of a philosophical question for you.
Go for it, brother. Yes, sir.
Okay. You consider yourself a capitalist?
A capitalist. In what realm? I'm just curious. Because, like, for me personally, like, my brother asked me this question. He's an economics major. He has all these degrees and everything. You know what he said to me? He said, Marantz, how do you fight inflation? Is there a hedge to inflation? I said, yeah, I go to work. So if every day waking up and I'm trying to make the most money for whatever I'm doing, me and my family, and then in my free time I pass it here with you guys, I'm trying to capitalize on the most that I can with my current skill set. So I don't know if that makes me a capitalist, but an opportunist, sure.
So I'm a board game designer.
Okay, cool.
In the field of game design, we study competition, and capitalism is competition, but the highest form of competition outside of monopoly and outside of Twitter followers, outside of stocks, is hunting down other animals and killing them. So would not the most capitalist person, wouldn't that person just be a mass murderer killing all of their competition?
It's a poor analogy, but I hear where you're coming from. I don't trivialize death. That's just me.
That's pretty much all I had. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to pounce and keep taking out the next company and the next company and the next deal and the next deal, I know a lot of people like that. Remember, you don't become a CEO of a company and you don't become a successful person in life just by having a good guy attitude or a good idea. You have to be a murderer. You have to be a killer. Most CEOs and most billionaires are. And they have that take you out mentality. So when it comes to this, and if you're asking, people can put up opposing views, I'm open to it. I literally have an open door here. So I try not to be the focus point for you guys, but if you guys want to make me the focus point, that's cool. I'm an opportunist. I don't want to say I'm a capitalist in that way. If you have an opportunity, I don't squander it. That's one thing. But I'll always bring positive energy to it, and you're more than welcome to come up here anytime and ask another question if you have one. But Notorious, you're up, Notorious. And by the way, I've never heard of anyone who's a game board designer. That's a kick-ass job, bro. I just haven't seen any new board games out lately, so you got me worried. I don't know about your job security. Notorious, what's going on?
Hey, sorry, coughing. I don't want to take, a lot of time in this space. Today's been long, man. I don't usually do these calls, so I'll be brief, even though I'm wordy. Marantz, I came on to you fairly recently. I probably watched some of your stuff over the last month.
Some of my best work.
Oh my God, you look phenomenal. and I, as a retail that held AMC, and I own Jimmy. Marantz knows all of this, and bullish bears, this and that. I'm a retail guy. I have tried to stay down the middle and try to blah blah blah. It really is not possible. I pride myself that during all of this, I listened to every single person that was full of shit, getting paid to say whatever they want, and then I would search for people I literally would search scam, I would search pyramid, I would search this, and I would listen to the people that were bearish on everything. After I got in this January, I wrote up, I diamond-handed, I did. Yes, I'm an individual investor. I'm a gray bush. I'm old enough to make my own decisions, and I did. I own that. But people are forgetting that you get roped into this loyalty, and you get roped into this thing that we have completely lost, that we're supporting each other. And people with AMC and GME, I'll just say that so nobody fucking honks a horn, that people now in the stock I own are saying, and they're getting paid to say, let's pay off all the debt. Let's not look at any of the data. Let's not look at Adam Aaron was CEO in 2016 and it was going bankrupt and they weren't earning. The model was failing then. I openly, you can vet me, you can go through my tweets. And I got friends, GME, I was like, man, I don't know. My kid's game, I'm old as shit. And then I started to actually learn and go, well, debt matters, share count matters, what the CEO matters. And even if nobody does anything else in GME, and it's just they don't have debt, and AMC does not provide anything except for a name above a theater, just like the theaters they have bought and closed. And so many people, it became about Adam Aaron. The guy has followed me for a year and a half, and I'm blocked by more apes. I'm offensive, but not offensive to him, but they know better. But because I ask questions maybe the shareholders shouldn't lose money, all the time. That's not good. But it is okay. If you're long, that's your thing. Nobody got into AMC long. Nobody got into this because they thought it was a great investment. Even GME, if you were to lay out a bunch of stocks in Marantz, we both have our favorites and this and that. They're not Tesla. They're not Apple. But nobody have I seen in GME try to compare float sizes and talk openly to people with so little knowledge that it makes me sad, and that's why I still argue with people. Until my head wants to fly out a window, because they won't even listen to that they're trying to get back to the point where they were bankrupt. That's the goal. Let's get to 2019.
Right.
I don't pretend this. I'm not long on AMC. I got in for every buzzword that nobody that gives financial advice was giving financial advice, that are now earning off saying the same thing for 19 months. And nobody will acknowledge that. Now the narrative is long. Now with GME, they don't have debt. They're winning. Whoever can debate that, like you can't. Like
Yeah, I
AMC
agree.
has a ton of debt, and they got Nicole Kidman bought lasers and invested in a gold mine that laid off all their employees and was bankrupt before the next scam. Anyway, thank you, peace and love. I own AMC. I wish I could believe in it, but I will not let others listen to tubers say this is a law. It isn't.
So,
And if it is, I
yeah.
hope it wins.
Hey, I'm with you, Notorious. I hope you the best. I tell you what my issue is, and this is the way I operate, and only for it to be fair, okay? It is not a fair fight, right? So when you think about being transparent for the two companies that you want to invest with, and it could be anything, guys. It wouldn't even have to be AMC. Like when Elmo asked me, "Hey, Marantz, if this was Home Depot, would you be invested?" No, I mean I love GameStop. I love games. That's my thing, guys. I'm a gamer. You guys know this. I game all damn day. My kids are filled. I spend thousands of dollars at GameStop. Period. A year, and I always have, and I always will. But when you have platforms and you have individuals that manipulate the platforms, that's where I want the people to be aware. There's currently a Spaces call going on right now that they've invited me to. I will not go to. And it's called, in turn, GME, the safest space. And who's hosting it? Terrible, Swing and Trade, these other jackasses all in it, and Swing Trader to Mars, whoever. All these guys who are now partnered up, buddy, and they say, I hope Marantz shows up. Literally text that. Do you guys get where it's coming from here, guys? Do you guys get where this whole narrative comes from? It comes from fear.
I have 3K AMC shares.
Yep.
I've been very open and shared all of this. I supported Tara just because she came in when I didn't. I could care less what she earns on the side. That's none of my business, but I was in the call.
Yeah.
And I have plenty of problems with Tara that have nothing to do with boobs. It has to do with Mark and the whole scam.
Yeah.
And because I am an AMC OG, I know it all. I fought it a year and a half ago, and I was an asshole then. Because I was like, yeah, no. I know the whole West Christian scam. And I should have listened because GME kicked Mark out first, but nobody wanted to hear it. Again, I'm sorry. You guys already know all this.
Yeah, no, you're fine. And I know all the guys. I know all the players.
I'm also banned from that call, too.
Yeah, I know all the players.
To be kind, though, we're not going to comment on anyone's bodies in here.
No.
Other than mine, which is a mess, but I'm going to start working out.
Well, stop with it all. You get me started, and I don't want to start. Hey, Mike, you're on the chat. You're in the channel, Mike. I appreciate you coming on up to speak. The floor is yours, Mike. No opinions, just you. I mean, as in, I don't have an opinion towards you. But go for it, brother. I've never met you.
Yeah. No, I've been following this for a long time, and the one thing I'm not quite understanding is why everybody always seems to lean back on fundamentals when from the start these have always been squeeze plays. There's always been weird things going on both sides. Maybe it was more weird with GME than it was for AMC. But if you look at the volume traded over the last year and a half, multiple times the float, all the DD that's gone on both sides, the argument against people who seem to hate one stock or the other, they seem to swing back to fundamentals. We know fundamentally both companies aren't an Apple or a Tesla or in the best place. One might be a little bit better than the other, but I think the understanding is these are both squeeze plays, whether you prefer one or the other. And I don't quite understand. The only argument against AMC seems to be the fact that it's not fundamentally sound. Well, I think anyone that's reasonable understands the fundamentals aren't the best. Do I think they're going to improve through 23 and 24? Quite potentially. Are they probably going to dilute APE in order to raise cash, to get them through this whole scenario? For sure. But the one thing we're looking at right now, and I think the one key thing that a lot of bullish AMC people are looking at is when this dividend comes out, if all these theories about naked short selling and about shares being out there that were sold short that shouldn't have been sold short are there, then a lot of this stuff has to get bought up. Like people want to talk about retail this, retail that. Like you're not going to tell me that retail collectively got together on Wall Street Bets or on Twitter or anywhere in the last 3 weeks, put together $5 billion worth of capital and start buying AMC at the same time. That did not happen. Something weird is going on. All these tickers move together. All the charts move the same for reasons that are unknown to most people. There's theories, and you can tear those theories apart, and you can make more theories. But something weird is definitely going on. And, for me, based on my risk assessment of a number of these tickers, I hold positions in a number of them. I'm waiting to see what happens, and I'm okay with taking that risk. And I think if people can get away from the fundamentals and go back to what was going on back in January with the squeezes and with the manipulation that we all suspect, but nobody can prove because nobody knows. We're not market makers. We don't have this information. I think it's hard because you can't prove theories, and everyone's guessing. But I think there's enough smoke around a number of these tickers that I think it's just best if everybody just allows people to do what they want to do and make their own risk assessment and not cause division amongst a group of people who might be invested in COS, in BBY, in GME, in AMC, because there's weird stuff going on with all of them.
Okay.
That's just the general.
Yeah, I'm going to say something because I know I'm hosting the space and you're here, and like I said, I've never seen you before, which is unfortunate because I'd love to see everyone that we can. I don't know if you're familiar with my stance, what it has been from day one. I don't talk manipulation. I don't talk short squeeze. I don't talk shorts, period. I only talk fundamentals. So when you say it's not a fundamental play, it never has been. It has been for me since the beginning. And I've made videos of it because I do e-commerce, retail at an executive level very high. And I understand the mindset of the board of directors for GameStop, who Larry Chang is, who Alan Adel is, who Ryan Cohen is. Like, there's so much more to it than just, hey, everyone's buying this stock and it's manipulated. That is not why I'm involved whatsoever. I hope and pray it's not manipulated, nothing's to it, other than the sheer fundamentals of the business. And with that being said, I'm going to read a tweet to you that came out an hour ago. This is a tweet by Larry Chang. Okay?
This is good shit. Pay attention.
This is the board of directors for Volution Capital, the first venture capitalist company to invest money into Ryan Cohen at Chewy.com. He's also on the board of directors for GameStop as well. A common bull market decision that can inadvertently bet the company in a bear, that can actually beat the company in a bear market, taking on debt knowing that they can't service it from cash flow betting on refinancing it later with new debt equity. If the markets don't cooperate when refinancing, the business is in peril. Do you know what that means? He actually broke it down for you. The best position, debt-free, cash flow positive, and a strong balance sheet. That is in every which way and form shitting on AMC. He literally said...
That was a very clear shot.
Yes.
And it was on.
Yeah, and I get that. And one company might be fundamentally better than another. There's a number of these, I guess they're stocks, but they get this bad name of meme stocks. But you can't deny the fact that, like, put the charts on top of each other over the last year and a half.
Yes.
They're all moving together. Something...
Okay. Mike.
All I'm trying to say is,
stop,
I
Mike.
understand that your position...
No.
Can I just finish my point?
Yeah, because, well, you said it right now, but I'll let you say it. It's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll just finish quick.
No, it's fine. You're good, brother.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All I'm trying to say is fundamentally one of these stocks may be 10 times better than the other. But when you look at the charts, they're all moving together, and something weird is going on with all of them. And you may have the opinion that GMA is better, not only from a squeeze perspective or a manipulation perspective, but you don't deal with that, as I understand you said. But this is just a better fundamental company, and that's a fine opinion to have. And I could see that opinion, but it doesn't take away from the fact that there's these basket of stocks that are all moving together, and something weird is going on with all of them.
Okay.
And that's the point I'm just trying to get across.
No, I understand. So the point that's been proven, and this is if you're reading up on it, which I want everyone to get out there, is GameStop and AMC are pegged. They're hedged against each other. So if one is going up, the other will go up. I actually showed it on YouTube today, and why BBBY is not in that basket. So, and that was proven in the after hours of Thursday when the earnings report came out and they announced that they were going to split. It went ahead and dropped down. GameStop dropped down, but BBBY did not. To mimic movements on algorithms, it takes volume, and to withhold the volume or to suppress the volume is how you can manipulate it. So if I want them to move the same, I'm going to make them move the same, and one could hedge the other. So it took 100 million shares to have the same price movement on the algos by AMC on Friday to mimic what GameStop did, and it was 6 million shares. So the numbers are drastically different, and the reason is because algos are manipulated. And why are they being manipulated? To make them look like they move the same. And if one's weighing out the other, you need short collateral debt. You need a long to go for that short. And if you're short GameStop, you need to go long on AMC, right? But I don't even care about that. I don't care about the algos. I don't care about the screen, the ticker. I could take it off. All I care about is how is my company run and who's running that company. That's the information I give. And when I look at AMC and the track record's there, that's what I actually expose. I don't know, give out the info. You decide what you want to do. But if you want to write out that investment you have, I pat you on the back and I wish you well. Either way. It's not that I don't wish you well. I hope Adam Aaron gets exposed for who he is. He's a flat out liar and a criminal, and he's lathering himself up with a lot of butter just to get through this slippery slope for him. And that's going to be tough for you guys, man. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow because it's happening. Ace.
That's fair enough, and I appreciate.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate the discussion, and everything's super cool. I just see things a little bit differently. I see these moving together. I understand what you're saying about the volume and liquidity, but like I've just watched this stuff pretty much silently. This is probably the first space I've been in, and I've gathered a lot of data, and I'm not a genius. I can't express it from the top of my head, but from all the reading I've done and all the research I've done over the last year and a half, there is something to a number of these tickers. Something weird is happening, and I think having a position in all of them, in my opinion, and I understand there's the theory that because it can't be proven either. I understand the theory that AMC is a hedge against GME. I understand that theory is out there, but I think when I look at the risk I'm willing to take, I'm looking at a risk across a number of different tickers that all have the possibility of short squeeze. And even though we may disagree, I think AMC is one of those that has a squeeze potential. And I'm just past the fundamentals on any of these companies because, like I said, I just my opinion from what I've seen, from what I've read, from what's going on, something weird's going on with all of these. And like I hate throwing the manipulation thing out there because it's impossible to prove, but something's definitely weird.
That's cool. I respect how you feel about it, man. And like I said, I hope you make money on whatever bet you're in. We're just shedding light on what will be happening with these stocks moving forward. Certainly with the APE equity units that are coming out and Adam Aaron. That's what we've been speculating on. That's what we've been talking about. And but I appreciate your opinion on the whole play itself. And like I said, if you're invested that way, man, I wish you the best. I really do. I hope you hit it right. And whenever it's time to get out, it's time to get out. But it's your decision to make, not mine. But I appreciate you, man. Appreciate your time. Hey, Base, you've had your hand up. You're getting muscle failure there from holding it up. Go ahead. You're up.
Hey, it's all good. Hey, I just want to, it's my first time in your space, and I just want to commend you because, I go in some of the other ape spaces, and, anytime I say anything that's remotely, questioning anything other than MOAS, like I'm just like cussed out or kicked out. So I appreciate the energy here. Just a quick question for you or compliance. If there's a market maker or broker that facilitates a massive naked short position, I think a lot of the apes are under the impression that these positions have to be cured with actual stock and finding ape stock to cure them. they could just merely, since they're synthetic or naked or whatever, they could just merely cure it with the price of AMC and Ape without even buying any of the shares. Isn't that correct when it's naked?
Well, compliance, I'll let you answer, but I'm going to say one part about that is, reg show rules have changed over the years. So the reg show rules used to state that, you need to know where to get the stock, or you need to know where to have it. Like, where is it physically right now? And now it's just, do you know where to get it? So if they could clear that out by the masses, by the truckload, then it's not going to be an issue. But what happens in this, like it did with Mudrick earlier last year, is they can do their own deal. They can broker their own deal. And that's off the market itself. So you'll never see it. What people, what investors are looking for is price discovery. That's how you increase price, right? So like if they say, hey, it's going to go to the moon, or it can't ever really get there when AMC is making their own deals behind their investors' backs. So I see it. I see the brakes getting put on, halts coming on their end. I'm not saying halts on the market. I'm just saying a halt on the transaction itself. Do they have to balance the books every day? I think they have like an hour and a half every day after it's done to get on the books and balance it out. And you can correct me if I'm wrong on that one, compliance, and I think that's just for the OCC portion. But in theory, it's a big game of hot potato, right? And so until they're leveraged, remember, hedge funds hedge, period. So it could be any position could hedge that short. It doesn't have to be the actual physical share itself of said company. They could hedge it with the share of something else, or a crypto, apparently, of something else. So there's just so many rules that are not spoken about for transparency reasons, which I'm sure people want to fight about, and freedom fighters. But for me personally, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm literally watching this car wreck, and I couldn't be more happy just to see it, because this means something's happening. Whether it's something that we want to happen or something that we need to happen is one thing, but something's happening where it will expose it one way or the other. Either it's going to expose Adam Aaron for the corruption and the partnerships he has beyond just retail investors, because they're there whenever he's buying Carmike movie theaters or he's buying Mudrick Gold Mine, things of that nature. But it's something to wait and see. It's a great question, A-Base, from me, but that's just my answer in a ballpark, like to wrap it up for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. If compliance is tied up, I understand. We have Ben, I know you have your hand up, but Zed was here. Zed has been here. He just came in. And Zed, I'm going to give you the mic. I know you have a lot to say, Zed. You're a smart man. So just so you know, this space is held a little different. Dizzy and I have been doing spaces a long time. The floor is yours. We have no opinions about whatever you say. It is your floor to say it. We will then talk about it after. But it's an open window for you, brother. Enjoy it. It's yours.
I don't know that I have that much to say. I'm like so worn out and tired from the BS of that last space, where it was just like a guy pretending to be like neutral and then just screeching like, that's an opinion, and everything you didn't like, and going, that's a fact about everything you like. It's like, it's a fact that the cash flow is getting better. That's a fact, shorty. It's like, well, the cash flow is objectively bad. They're going bankrupt, though. Yeah, but it's getting better, shorty. It's like, okay. So?
Yeah, well, it's not hard. Well, what I was saying there, Zed, when you were talking, I was trying to bridge it together for them. What I was saying is, it's easy to have a cash flow when you don't pay any bills. So I could have all the cash in the world if I don't make any payments to any bills I have. But when those liabilities come onto your doorstep and you're forced to pay them, then we can talk cash flow.
Yeah, I'm frankly confused about the deferred rent. Like, I've read all the notes and the MD&A, and I can't figure out anywhere, like, what the fucking schedule for paying back the deferred rent is, right?
Yeah, so it was like original from last year.
Isn't one.
Yeah, you have to go back to last year for deferred rent.
Really? Why don't they include it in this year's? Because it's still on there, right? Like, there's deferred rent expense of how much?
It was like $400 million. But I don't want to just assume a number.
So, I mean, it's not under finance lease liabilities, deferred tax liability, other long-term. Debit is a current? No. It's weird. Like, I don't see it here.
I'll find it tonight, and I'll DM you. I'll send it to you so you can have it. I've gone through these earnings reports inside and out, and I'm talking about from 2018 19, 20, 21, 22. I've gone through all the earnings calls as well. People have no idea. I have heard the same pitch from Adam Aaron every year. We've raised enough liquidity to survive. We've made it past this moment in time since blah blah. I mean, it's the same pitch, the same dialect, the same everything, and it's cringeworthy because you've never heard a CEO, board of directors speak this way. Like he knows he's being spoken. Like he knows he's being heard. It's totally different. I've been to plenty of earnings calls, guys. I do them all damn day long, and even for investments that I have outside of GameStop, and I hear them talk, and I'm so happy. Like it's a breath of fresh air. And it's kind of like GameStop's earnings calls where they come in, they say the numbers, and they walk out. I've never heard anyone try to explain themselves and then in turn theorize 10 possible catalysts that could get you to hold your shares for another year while the insiders are not quietly, violently offloading said shares onto retail. They know you're going to buy them, and then they know you're going to hold them. So it's just giving you enough fuel for the fire. But like I said, it's spaghetti leadership. It's throwing a plate of spaghetti on the wall, seeing what sticks. And what's sticking right now is the acronym APE, HYMC, gold mining, and NFTs. That's all free. But he also told you 2 years ago, or a year ago, that he would have popcorn stands up and running, 15 of them by the end of the year, and he's going to go, or not even 5 now. He doesn't have his 0. So he would have popcorn stands up and running, and those were going to make back the $5 billion. I don't know how it works, how math works in their world, but if that can happen, I'm setting up a Girl Scout cookie table, and I'm going to become a billionaire tomorrow, guys, because these are phenomenal business plans. But I'm not going to project myself too much onto that. Zed, I know you were fighting the good fight in the last call. That's why I invited you up. I know you're exhausted, but don't be, brother. Listen, let me tell you something. I only sleep 4 hours a day. I come out here and I read all goddamn day, whether it be with Amy, whether it be with anyone else. I'm reading SEC filings. I found out that they increased the float to 10 million preferred shares, which in turn holds 1 billion votes. And no one's talking about this. They already have the votes in hand to dilute, period.
Yeah, for sure.
And people don't know that. So when you say it out loud, it sounds it's comical.
Can I jump in?
Sure.
I went and read the notes. Note 2. So basically, they've rolled the deferred rent expense into the operating lease payment schedule.
Okay.
So in 2023, so it's weird. Like, okay, so basically they convinced I guess they increased their rental payments, but it doesn't look even, right? So like basically, 31 million due 3 months ended September 30th. 31 million due 3 months ended December 31st. Then 83 million in 2023, and then 15, 5, 4, 3, and then 21 million thereafter. But this is rolled into the existing operating lease.
Yes, and what's going to happen, what people have to remember is just because you're paying deferred rent does not mean that you acquire current rent. So it's not going to decrease. This is why I'm so bullish on GameStop. If people only knew. This year for GameStop, they have 400 to 500, it's 524 leases that are up this year on said buildings. Next year, it's 1,400. So if they want to get lean and get nimble and get agile, you have 1,400 buildings that you could possibly close and not have to pay those rents. And that in turn would actually help you. Now, I know it's going to look terrible to all these naysayers and guys ready to pounce. GameStop's closing 1,000 locations. GameStop's closing 200 locations. They have 3,500 in the U.S. Do they need that many? You ask yourself in part of town you live.
They should have less stores.
Yes, because when you're transitioning to e-commerce, remember, this is why I have a problem with AMC. You can only make money off the movies from 9 to 9, 11 to 11, whatever it is. I don't even care the time frame. And you're making money off the movie 1 hour, 2 hours at a time. And you can only show it in so many movie theaters. So you need to maximize that time slot. You're not making any money off the clock. So when you look at GameStop, they're actually supposed to make more money while their building's closed because they are e-commerce and that platform's driven. That's what's currently happening. I'm not even talking about the NFT marketplace. That's just the sugar on top. I'm not talking about any, because I don't want to talk about things speculative. I want to talk about assets on hand, cash on hand, and why it's valuable. GameStop had a $300 million cash burn last year. And people are like, whoa, they lost $300 million. But did they? They have over $1 billion in inventory now. They have 2 new fulfillment centers. They have a call center. They hired 350. You get what I'm, but you get what I'm saying.
Investing in working capital. Yeah.
It does. They actually they increase their assets from 2.5 to 3.5 million. Inverse.
Yeah. Okay.
AMC increased liabilities all the way up to $12.5 billion. These are controllable liabilities, but this is just to become a business, just to actually operate. It's phenomenal how buried it is.
So check this out. The way that the operating lease liability schedule, the way the sum of that is held on the balance sheet, I just discovered in the notes. So the total sum of lease payments due between now and like eternity, it just shows till 2027 broken out, and then there's a big thereafter for the remainder, right? The way the total lease payments are computed is 7750, right? That's $7 billion, $7.7 billion. Now, on our actual balance sheet, if you go and look, it shows at 4.4. Well, why is that? So part of it is that there's a current portion that's due in the next 12 months, right? So that goes into current liabilities.
Sure.
But the current portion isn't $3 billion. Why are you holding it $3 billion less AMC on the balance sheet? And the answer is that they've subtracted imputed interest.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Per the notes. Well, I mean, you can, right? But the caveat is, if you're going to subtract imputed interest, that means you ought to have the cash sitting around earning a return
to offset
in the interim,
it. Yes.
Right? Or I mean, arguably fine. Rent is, if it's an operating lease, I get it. Actually, no, wait a second. For GAAP rules, can you not fucking do, okay, I would have to look up the GAAP operating finance lease rules again, but you're right. That is sketchy to do it for an operating lease versus a financing lease.
I'm trying to tell the world here.
The actual cash flow, the actual cash flow out for those lease payments is greater than the amount that they hold in the books, which, doesn't, if this were a company that was making money, whatever, fine, impute the interest that you're saving. But you're not making money, you're losing money.
It's a simple rule of thumb for a lot of people out there. Yeah, simple rule of thumb for a lot of people out there said, and you can break it down like you have line by line. I just tell everyone this way. If your market cap is not larger than your operating liabilities, period, it's not a good investment. It's not an opinion. That is a fact. When people tell you, but they graduated from the Russell 2000, Russell 1000, they graduated off the amount of money that you put into it, right? It's because retail's holding the amount of money that's in it. They're going to pump that liquidity out of it and pay their own bills. Their own bad decisions are about to be paid by retail. That's why I tell people what's happening. But people want to put their hands up at me and call me an asshole and call me names, and I'm not allowed to defend myself. Oh, God, no. God fear I ever do that. But you know what? Call me whatever you want. Attack me. Don't attack women and children. But Dizzy's had her hand up. Ben has had his hand up. Dizzy, give Ben a second. Let Ben do his thing. Ben, how you doing, Ben? What's going on?
Sorry, I got cicadas buzzing behind me. I don't know if that's coming through or not.
It's all good, brother. We all grew up in the sticks. We know what it's about.
I grew up in the hood. It just happens to be messing with cicadas. So you're long GME, right?
Absolutely. I'll never sell.
Holy fuck.
I'll never sell.
I loved what you were talking about earlier. And as quick as I might end this very short love affair, Ryan Cohen is a functional retard who has never ran a profitable business in his life, and he pumped a bunch of money into an NFT marketplace at the very top. And how is the e-commerce? I mean, for a little bit of background, just really quick, I was short GME back when they still had a dividend.
Okay.
I was not short in the run-up, obviously. That was the second to last earnings they had before they cut the dividend. That was the last time I was actually short GameStop. I have not really touched it or messed with it since then. But holy shit. I mean, I was... Well, I won't get into that, but... the only thing that Ryan Cohen has to his name is an unprofitable dog food company.
Okay.
And this whole e-commerce pivot, how are they going to compete with the big box stores that have way more purchasing power than they do?
Okay. So You're more than welcome to your opinion. You know that here. I don't feel any way about you either way. I respect you for having an opinion. You know,
I respect you.
yes, sir. So the common opinion that you have is actually quite common, believe it or not. You know, I have a brother, like we've talked about before in these calls, and he's actually been on the show before. He's not a believer. He's a believer in the fact that I apologize. Ryan Cohen is going to sell off his position the minute it becomes profitable for him. And then I was like, well, you know, it ran up pretty good and he didn't sell off. You know, I think about it that way. But more so than that, I'm gonna do it in reverse for you, okay? I was here with GameStop well before your put position. And what do I mean by that? It means I was born and raised a gamer. Right? I still play games right now. I have League of Legends open up on my computer right now. I played WoW my whole life. Played all the consoles. I have 5 PlayStations in my house. My kids play games every damn day. Right? Like gaming is a fabric of life for me. Now, inverse. Everyone around me, and I'm talking about anyone I rely on in life. I don't care if it's Almo Nestor. I don't care if it's Ravenstown, Ruben, Pepperwood Salt. Everyone out here can give you value. Shoulder to shoulder. It's worth whatever I deem it's worth, right? Like, unless I'm selling, unless they sell, unless you sell, unless you think GameStop's not a great company, unless you stop shopping there, then you lose momentum. Then you lose what it is. But this is the unspoken fight club. This is the one where you walk around and you see a guy in a GameStop shirt and you give him a nod. This is the truth. There are people out here who are dedicated to a company, to a movement. You know why NFTs are worth something? Because people give them value. If I decided to sell...
This is AMC reasoning. Talk about the future value of the cash flows, bro.
I don't understand what you're saying there either. But you talked about...
It's a movement, man. That's like AMC reasoning.
Yeah.
No. You're not listening. I'm trying to give you something here, man. I'm trying to get you there, but you want to interrupt. I didn't interrupt you. I patted you on the back and said thank you for calling Ryan Cohen a functioning retard. He was smart enough to buy enough Apple to be rich. But beyond that, my NFTs are worth something when it's in a GameStop marketplace because all of the creators, I've interviewed 23 launch day creators, 21 of whom are GameStop investors. You see, you can't unwind what this is. The value of it is that I'm my own personal bank of my said position. And I'll hold it forever, literally forever. I know that sounds crazy to you, but it's something that I believe in. I've been here for 2 years, a year and a half on YouTube, every day, 7 hours a day. Every free hour of my life I give to GameStop and passing on this message, and I do it for free. There's nothing coming my way. I have a great career. I make enough money to survive without it. I don't grift. I don't ask you to donate. I don't ask for anything. If anything, I give back thousands of dollars because I'm a different type of cat. I'm different than you, Ben, and that's okay. But I know a lot of people like me. I know a lot of people like me that believe in it, that are going to stay here wholeheartedly. I know Almo's not going to sell 500 shares worth. What's that worth to him? The value of GameStop is infinite to me. So you can call everyone an idiot. Does Larry Chang look like an idiot? Does Ryan Cohen have enough money to make a mistake and do it again? Alan Adel, is he dumb? You think these are failed companies? They sold a pet company for $3.2 billion. Whether or not it makes money or not today is not their concern. There's an opportunity in front of you. You can take it or you can leave it. But if you think I'm wrong, you're still in the right spot. This is an AMC safest space. You can go and buy all the AMC you want, young man. You can buy any security you want. I've never told anybody what to buy and what not to buy. I just told you what the fuck I'm doing. And I say it with an F word only because I'm punctual about it. But I respect all of you guys on this. I'm not against you. Ben, you can come out here and you can shit all over me. And I'm just going to tell you thank you. Because that's the way I am. I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll make the next video about why GameStop is the best investment, period. I have hour-long videos, 7 hours long. A whole breakdown PowerPoint presentations I do every month on my own. Nobody asked me to do this stuff. I don't get paid by anyone. I just wake up and put the hours in because I feel it's the right thing to do. So you're more than welcome to say your piece, brother. But you're talking to a real one. I'm cut different, bro. Just letting you know. Go ahead, Ben. The floor is yours.
Oh, yeah, and like I'm just to be clear, I can tell that you are somebody who is not financially illiterate. You know more than the average person does. But like, holy shit! Like, you are repeating the same talking points that AMC people are. It's still a negative cash flow company that you're saying like the movement is gonna bring the whole thing up. And I fully admit, like, GameStop has a balance sheet that is 100 times better than AMC for the moment. And Chewy, both before and after he sold it, was never profitable. Like this man is like literally never been in charge of a profitable company in his entire life. Period. Like, this is, in my opinion, Ryan Cohen is a product of a bull market where VC money just gets thrown around and thrown at various ventures. And he bought a lot of Apple stock for a reason. There's a reason he didn't just buy more GameStop stock. GameStop stock, sorry. I'm getting a little... I've been drinking.
No way. What gave it away?
This is still a company that is burned through. I mean, even during what was historically their most profitable quarter, just incinerated cash.
Who are you talking about right now?
GameStop. in for Q4, like that's when they historically bring in, like, that's like their one great quarter.
$2.23 billion. I'm familiar with the earnings.
And what was the net loss?
No, they net lost for the year $300 million.
Right.
Yep. Did we not talk about that right now? Did you miss that part of the phone call?
I mean, you mentioned their inventory, but that's a depreciating asset for the most part.
Sure. And when you talk about hardware, software, inventory, NFT marketplace, hires, 2 fulfillment centers, 500 employees hired. Do you know how much it costs to hire 800 employees for the year? Like, employees alone. The assets alone for 300 employees will cost you north of $5 million. But even more so than that, and I'm not even talking about their salaries. I'm talking about the benefits. Benefits cost that much. So I don't think you guys want to go that route. This is a pivot. This is a transition.
Honest question, like, what do they pay or what do they provide their employees in the
Well, I don't work for them. I'll tell you that. So I don't know what they provide for them. Okay? I'm not going to speak about something I don't know. I will say this. Ryan Cohen is the chairman of the board. He's not the CEO. There is a group of people working here that are e-commerce veterans without any speculative work that you're thinking. Do you know why inventory is not a bad thing in this case? Because the influx of e-commerce growth and hardware and collectible growth is where the market is. This is where the money's at. Go look at the earnings report. They'll show you. But you guys are going to battle against GameStop for no reason. This was not about GameStop, guys. This whole conversation was about AMC and the ape unit and what's happening right there. You guys want to come talk to me about GameStop? There's a whole different avenue here that you're going to want to take. The different approach you want to take. GameStop's winning. You just don't know it. You say they have a negative cash burn. They're not profitable. Are you guys in your 20s or 30s? Ben, are you in your 20s or 30s?
I'm 35. I'll be 36 in a few months.
When you were in your 20s, no, watch this. When you were in your 20s, did you burn off a lot of cash?
Nope.
Well, maybe you didn't have any. It's a big difference.
Oh, I did. I had worn out a lot more than I have now. But,
yeah.
I burned it. Yeah.
Then listen. Yeah, I'm trying to give you guys a reference here. When my wife met me, I didn't make the money I make, but she knew that I would one day. She believed in me. She invested in me, just like I invest in her. GameStop's no different. They're at 20-something right now. trying to get their life back on track, and they're about to be 30, 40, 50 in due time. You got to give them time to burn, right? Or you don't. You're going to blame the board of directors for the outcome of this company after 1 year of being on the job? They told you they'd give you a marketplace, and they did it in under a year. A whole new invention. They invented that from scratch, and it's marketable, and it's profitable, and it functions.
How much money are they really making from that, though?
No, guys, it's in beta. God, guys, stop. What I mean is this. When you can't say that it's not profitable because you haven't had the earnings reports yet from it.
It's profitable for GameStop because they're taking a rake from the creators, but if you go through the collections, all of those are down massively since they were first minted.
Collections are down? There's no such thing as being down. Like, that's ridiculous. It's called, no, there's no such thing because there's no...
The floor price of those NFT collections are down.
Ben, it's called residual income. It just keeps coming. You don't have to do anything for it. If I could get paid views off of YouTube for my first videos, I get a penny at a time off of the first videos, it still keeps coming every month. The rake is still there. You don't lose anything. It's not that you need to invent something new, even though new stuff is being invented. You're grading an NFT marketplace based off of the first month in existence? That's your claim to fame? It's what they call layered growth. Okay, layered growth, and this is for e-commerce across the board. Layered growth means that the amount of subscribers you have year one will increase year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, because you lose none. You only gain. This is a business model for Costco. It works the same way. You just have automatic renewal, right? Every single time. Do you think the actual reward members for GameStop has decreased over time, or did they increase? There was 3 categories for GameStop that increased. And if you ever want to talk about big box retail versus GameStop and why they don't have the purchasing power you said, they have better than purchasing power, and I'll explain it. Best Buy lost this quarter. Walmart lost this quarter. Target lost this quarter. And the reason why they all lost is because someone's winning. Amazon's even losing on that gaming front. Because when you can offer premium products at premium prices to your investors, to us, the consumer, who just happens to be the investor, we inherently put out more. And why does that matter on the e-commerce front? Well, I'll explain it, guys, because it's not just a Cyber Monday. That's not what they're doing. They're doing Cyber Week. They're doing programs the whole way through. I'd rather buy it at GameStop because they have deals throughout the whole year that these guys don't. They can churn it every single time. But the 3 categories that matter, and you guys need to pay attention to this, okay? Extended warranties, cash cards, right? And I'm talking about gift cards. And then inverse, if you have those 2 things, then you have memberships go up. And what did GameStop have? They had a 2.4 million increase on memberships sold. They had 3.2 million increase on cash cards sold. And then they did inverse that as well on warranties. They sold more. Guess who had a decline on warranties, credit cards, and cash cards? Best Buy. So the reason why is because the employees on the ground level are doing the work. The culture is changing, and it takes time for culture to change. The culture of a movie theater is there. It's dormant. It's 100 years old, and that leadership's been there for 7 years. GameStop's been here for 1 year. They're transitioning, and they're trying to change that culture. And to do it at the ground level, it's almost impossible. It takes so much effort. It takes so much time. And as people die and retire, and they leave with that culture, and they take it with them, we have to embed new ones, and we have to train new people. So that's where the new hires come in. The new COO that we just got 3 months ago. There's so many people that we're trying to inject into this company to rejuvenate it. It's been a broke down business for 20 years. Sure, video games aren't what they say they are. I just had somebody type in the chat and say, I downloaded this game directly from PlayStation. Well, guess what, guys? Wake up. GameStop doesn't sell video games. That's not what they're known for anymore. And that's what's moving forward. GameStop is just like Netflix. Netflix used to deliver movies through the mail. Amazon used to sell books, and GameStop used to sell games. And that's the moniker that I've been yelling out for I don't know how long. What have I been doing here? I've been making these videos for 1.5 years, pounding to the damn table to let you guys see what the transition is. But you're all numb to it. And it's okay. It's okay, but to call someone a retard, or he lucked into it, he dumbed into it, he's a victim of a bullish market, of venture capitalist money just sloshing around. Well, yeah. Well, he's got enough years under his belt and enough money on it to make mistakes and still pay for it. He's risking his money, not yours. It's not the other way around.
Where did he get the capital that he had? I don't know a whole lot about him. Where did he get the capital? Like, why is a kid? Is it like he's like a 5'6" kind of schlubbish, little nerdy-looking dude. Like,
So,
where did he,
Ryan
how did he
Cohen.
get to be who he is?
Well, Ryan Cohen, Michael Day, Alan Adel, when they got together and they wanted to make a company, they were trying to do a jewelry company at first because his dad's into jewelry and stuff, or was, I'm sorry. But he ended up going...
His rich parents, right?
No, not so necessarily rich parents, but it's enough to where he can go up and he can come up with this deck. He had a deck slide that he was presenting around with an idea of having Chewy be his company, and he could get no investing. So it took over 100 pitch decks to actually get someone to invest. And when he did, he partnered up with Larry Chang. And Larry Chang was the money, and Larry Chang was the visionary. And that's why people don't see it. So people are sitting here looking at shit tweets and think that's the leader of the company. And when you look at the board of directors and you look at the money, that's Larry. These are Larry's guys. Larry is the truth.
So he's just an average guy walking on the street saying, "Hey man, give me $1 million and I can go make it 10 million." Like,
no,
how does that work?
You have to look at the business model. You have to look at the pitch deck. You know, I've seen it, right? I've done the whole pitch deck, Chewy pitch deck. You guys not seen it? You guys should watch it.
Well, I'm sure it's great, but I mean, why would somebody give, if he had no assets of his own?
Sure.
Why would somebody give him all this money?
Was it that much money though? It's 10. I mean, you've seen
how much was it?
10 million. Have you seen Shark Tank?
Somebody gave him 10 million.
Have you seen Shark Tank? They're giving people more money than that just for no reason at all. For people to have a good idea. This is better than a good idea. Why would they buy it for 3.2 billion if it's not a threat? If it's not profitable, why would somebody buy it for 3.2 billion? Is it a sweetheart deal? It's not. You know, he has the ability to sell his shares right now and he'd make billions. Straight up. That's what he's worth on GameStop itself. He doesn't need it to be successful more than what it already is right now.
People have great ideas, but nobody gives them $10 million. So that's why I'm still a little fuzzy on why he got to be in charge of all this capital.
100 pitch decks. 100. 100 people said no. One person said yes. I ask the same question to my wife every day. Why'd you marry me? So many people can say no. How'd I get so lucky? That's it, brother. It's not that hard, guys. Some people make it. Some people don't.
See, I respect that general outlook because I feel very fortunate to be with the woman that I'm with. But going back to the topic at hand.
Sure, brother. You're welcome. Let's do it.
I'm sorry. Can I interrupt? Was it really only 10 million?
Initially,
Grant?
yes, initially.
That's nothing. That's nothing when it comes to venture capital. Are you guys serious?
Yeah, I know.
10 million? That's
I know.
it? I can't believe it. I mean, it's a lot of money to me, but it's just a few people's salaries. If you think about engineering salaries alone.
I know
I've
it is.
got a really good idea too for a business. So where do I get $10 million? I have a bang up idea for a business.
Okay. Can I tell you?
Where do I get $10 million?
You have to make a pitch deck, and you got to go out there and you got to hustle, man. You got to ship it. And these are some smart, ambitious dudes that are very educated, and they know exactly what they were doing. Go look at it, guys. You can go look up. Go do this for me. Go to Volution Capital. Google Volution Capital. Go to YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna help you guys out. Everyone's here. I'm gonna do this for everyone in the chat. Go to Volution Capital on YouTube and go ahead and look at the pitch deck. You're gonna look for Chewy pitch deck. It's a video about 13 minutes long, and they're gonna explain to you why they invested and what Ryan Cohen presented. And that's Larry Chang doing their narrative, and he's telling you why he did it. But when you can go from 3 employees, I don't care what the dollar amount is, and you can sell for $3 billion, I'll let that rest on itself. If you don't think that these guys are pioneers for e-commerce and that they're good at what they do, then you're missing the mark when it comes to GameStop. GameStop is prepared for all outcomes, whether it be an e-commerce influx, whether it be a pandemic, and or a revolution on Web 3.0 and the NFT marketplace. They are ready on all fronts. This is the route they're headed. You can be doubtful. You can do all of the above. But the speculative side of it, delete that as well. Give me a balance sheet that beats this. Go start me up, go get me a SPAC, wants to bring a company to market. Go bring me any startup right now with a better balance sheet and a better team and a better footprint and playbook than GameStop. And I'll invest in that company. But there isn't one. This is the start of it, and it's been 1 year. You want to be skeptical all you want. I'm doing it with my money. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I put my time where my mouth is. I do the best I can every day. And I hope you guys do the same. But when we're talking about AMC, this is not apples to apples. That's somebody playing with your money. That's where I draw the line. That's where I'm like, this is wild.
I think you'll get no disagreement. And I'm sorry, I know it's Ben's turn to talk, but you'll get no disagreement about it. Clearly, GME is a different player from AMC.
Yeah.
I'm just skeptical that they're ever going to make any money with any of these shenanigans.
No, you can't be skeptical of that. You just got to sit back and relax. You got plenty of time. You know, it took Tesla 13 years, 11 to 13 years to make a profit.
Yeah, when they flip free cash flow positive,
yeah,
and they have no real meaningful debt other than the lease liabilities they have on all the storefronts, it probably is a pretty good business to invest in. But I think from that day to this one is a pretty long time.
I don't think it's a long time, and I'll explain. When you cut out 20% of your workforce, that's going to shorten up the books. And remember that most of that cash flow was upfronted for this marketplace to get it up and going. So, and the inventory up to $1 billion. So the increase in inventory was $400 million versus last year. The previous year was $600 million, and now we're at $1 billion. So a $400 million influx on inventory is not a bad thing when all you're doing is waiting for that internet, that e-commerce transaction, right? So it's going to get delivered to you. Those warehouses are built that way. If you look at the Reno, Nevada warehouse and or the one in York, Pennsylvania, York, Pennsylvania fulfillment center is 750,000 square feet. You'll be amazed at how much freight you can hold in there, but that in turn helps you deliver on time. You know, it sucks because if you want to deliver something that weighs 40 pounds, it used to cost you an arm and a leg. Now it doesn't cost you anything. Now they go, you know what? If you buy it and it costs that much, we're going to get it to you for free. And the reason is because they have enough hubs. They have enough storefronts. You know, Amazon tried this, guys. Amazon went backwards. They went to e-commerce, got the fulfillment centers, and then tried to buy retail space. And it failed. Now in Verse, GameStop already has the retail space. It's the perfect storm for an e-commerce juggernaut, an e-commerce giant that's trying to come through. And they're going to, guys. They're selling everything you can think of. I encourage you to go to the website. They sell Segways. They sell Ring doorbells at the same price as Amazon. And they're going to get it to you even faster. They're going to get it to you within the hour. They'll get it to you within the day. Just depends on when you order it and where you're from. But they're trying their best to put their best foot forward. And they're doing it in year one, all whilst running a separate company for the blockchain side. And blockchain is everything. If people don't know what NFTs are and what's coming your way, you will find that out in the hardest way, the harshest reality. But I want to say something else on that. We're going to talk about the NFT wallet for a minute and how it's adoptive versus, I would tell you something like iTunes. I've had this conversation on my live, but you guys really should pay attention when you think about Apple. Apple released iTunes in January, February of 2001. They didn't release the iPod until October 23rd, 2001. Now, from that moment in time, it wasn't even adoptable for mainstream radio, for mainstream America to say, you know what, this is what we're going to start using. The music industry was not going to go with it. They wanted CD sales. They did not want downloads. Just like video game companies do not want to go with NFTs. They don't want it this way. Everyone's reluctant. But as soon as the demand is too much of a demand, you will restructure your whole industry because of it. The movie theaters did it, and movie-making companies did it with streaming. The music industry did it, and it didn't reflect on the stock price, guys. The NFT marketplace might not make $1 for GameStop stock price. It might not be a difference to the actual shareholders for 2 to 3 years like it did for Apple. Apple was at $9.84, somewhere in that range, when the iPod was released. It took 3 years for it to get up to $30. So it took 3 years to actually see a difference in that stock price and for it to churn out a profit. The ROI took that long, but I'll tell you what, guys. You look at GameStop and that NFT marketplace. If it takes 3 years, it takes 3 years. But when it's adopted by the masses and you understand this wallet is what's needed, and you need to be your own bank, and you need to have these own transactions happen in real time, you will see how functioning responsible you will be towards that marketplace, towards the adopted practice of it, and then gaming in itself. But hey, don't get wrapped up in the fact that GameStop doesn't sell used games. That's going to be a blast in the past. These guys are hiring for it. These guys are headed for it, and they're ahead of everybody. They hired for it a year ago, and people are barely hiring today. Zynga Gaming, barely hiring. Is that their name? Zynga Gaming? Yeah, they just barely hired 85 people this year. you're a year behind. How much technology are you behind? The partnerships with Loopring and IMX are just that. They're unimaginative because you could never think this through. You could never imagine it, guys. You couldn't imagine MySpace. You couldn't imagine Facebook. You couldn't imagine Samsung phones. You couldn't imagine all the things you imagine now. You couldn't imagine Twitter Spaces calls where there's hundreds of people talking all damn day. Or YouTube and streaming in your computer and on your phone. All the things you can't imagine, wait till this wallet is doing the things you can't imagine. That's what I'm trying to get across when I think about GameStop. That's the sugar on top. That's the extra. I don't care about manipulation. I don't care about market fairness. I don't care about any of that shit. I care about my company and the way it's being run. And in Verse, the e-commerce front is the backbone of this damn thing. The e-commerce is going to be the reason why they make money. But if you're objective to it, like, I don't know when they're going to make a cash flow. They're still burning through cash even now because as you pivot and you transition, it takes 2 to 3 years to see a true profit. It really does. You know, if you build a Sam's Club right now and put a Sam's Club in, I don't care where you put it in, the most popular part of town, that Sam's Club is not profitable. It makes a net profit and for 4 to 5 years. You're paying for the bakery, you're paying for the deli, you're paying for the registers, you're paying for the inventory, you're paying for the employees, you're paying for the concrete before you ever make a profit. Are people saying that's not a profitable business model? Are people saying that's not a good business thing to do? No. They're going to sit there and they're going to be like, you know what? Let's wait these 5 years till we start raking in this money. It's no different, guys. It's no different. GameStop has a great business model, and if you're shell to it, it's going to creep up on you, and by the time it does, you didn't catch that boat. And you and I are going to be sitting in a country club, and you're going to be like, hey, man, remember that time I bought Google? Yeah, you remember that time I bought Tesla? Yeah, well, what'd you buy? I bought GameStop at the beginning. Do you remember that? Oh, shit, you did? Yeah, man, I got it early. That's going to be the conversation. There's no one else in this conversation but blue chip companies, because that's exactly what we are. We have a blue chip leadership team, and we have emphatic following.
Yo, Marantz. I dig it. Can you throw numbers at me in terms of your projections?
Sure.
Like 2027 free cash flow, 2030 net income. Like, what do you think the compound annual growth rate on this shit is? What do you think, like, adoption is in terms of NFT timelines, et cetera, and when that sees an impact to top and bottom line?
Quality questions, and here's the unfortunate truth. I go quarter to quarter. I don't project out.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I don't project it out that way, only because there's unspoken catalysts that can move this mountains, right? You have the ability to partner up. You have the ability to take in someone else at any time. So I can't even speculate it to that point because I can't imagine it, right? I couldn't imagine Samsung 13 years ago being worth what it is today. 1989, the top. No, look at this. You're asking me to project out 10 years, right? But like, if you did that from 1989, would you even know the companies today? None of the companies in 1989's top 20 market caps exist today. None of them are in the top 20 today, right? Because we didn't know what Facebook was. We didn't know what Snapchat is. We don't know what those things are. So you can't speculate 10 years ahead of time. I can tell you next quarter, this quarter right now reporting, I'm looking for $1.224 billion. Is that an increase? It absolutely is an increase. Is it a good enough one to operate for Wall Street to come get invested? Probably not. But then again, Wall Street can't get invested because there's no shares for them to buy, brother. I own them all. And I'll keep buying.
But like there's always there's always catalysts in the future that could pop up that you don't know, right?
Yeah.
So like if I was to tell you that it's not possible for anyone to project Apple's 2025 free cash flow, because it could be the case that they develop their own car for Apple Car, or they might go out and buy Hyundai and like nobody can know what'll happen.
Right.
Like, that would obviously be a retarded transparent dodge, right?
Yeah, but you're talking about cash flow, and that's just so subjective. Like, cash flow is valuable to whom? When you're still trying to...
What do you want to do, net income? Like, if it's not cash flow, if it's being reinvested into future growth, that's fine, right? Like,
right.
You just want to do income.
But that's what I'm saying, yeah. Like, I'm saying, like, market cap income, like, anything like that nature. Like, when I look at GameStop, I see it having a projected market cap of $100 billion within 5 years. I do see that. And the only reason why I say that is because there's companies that don't use cash. They can have it on hand, and they don't use it, right? Like, so I'm invested into Costco beyond belief. And I listened to an earnings call the other day, and I was blown away and shocked when I found out they had $110 billion cash. And I was like, what the hell? The market cap is...
Brad,
yeah.
when the stock price, when the market cap is 100 billion, what do you believe the price to sales ratio will be on the stock at that time?
Oh, I'm looking at like 5 to 1, 10 to 1, 5 to 1.
Okay, so within 5 years, we will have revenues of $20 billion approximately.
10 to 20.
Or 10 to 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so if it hit 15, I'd call that a win for you. Okay. Yeah. So that's a measurable projection.
Do you know where it's at right now?
Breakdown is in terms. I think their annual revenue is something like 5 or 6.
6 right now.
6. Okay.
So is it far fetched to say 10 or 15?
No, it's like a lot of growth, but it's not like stupid.
Right.
So I just want to know the breakdown on that revenue. So like if you were to say like something, oh, NFTs are $1 billion and like e-commerce is like 9 and.
No, I think one thing is, well, I think it's like this. I think one is you have to be labeled a technology company for it to reflect that way. That's one of the deciding factors.
Yeah, I agree. I would never trade a brick and mortar retailer.
Exactly. Brick and mortar is 2 to 1. Brick and mortar is 2 to 1 at most, right? Like ideally, I mean, it's tough. It's tough when you look at people like Best Buy and you're like, man, they sell like $50 million, or are they worth that much? You know, it just depends on how you look at it. But when I look at GameStop itself, you could see hardline sales being in the range of 1 to 2 billion alone, just in that one category every quarter. So what, 5 billion on just on hardware? So that's computer components and any gaming consoles that come out. You could have it go that route. You can have an additional on collectibles themselves, because that's the biggest growing category. You could do another $750 million a quarter. I'm sorry, the whole time frame. So you were going to look at about 6 right there, and then software, and then the rest would be the NFT marketplace. So I can anticipate the NFT marketplace having a net value of 10 billion just on its own merit. If you look at OpenSea, they currently made, like, I believe it was $120 million last week, right? Like, that was their market cap. Like, that's how much volume they traded back and forth, I should say, via ETH. But with the projections of ETH and what it's worth and what it will be worth in 5 years, and people project it out to $10,000, an ETH unit. So as that goes up, as crypto goes up, as this whole market comes together, you're at the bottom of it right now. So the valuation of the marketplace is zero because crypto's at zero. But from the day that GameStop got released, their marketplace, to now, it was 7-11. So it's been almost a month. Ethereum's been up 80%, 60 to 80% since the release of that marketplace. If you don't think GameStop's driving it, it can, but I would treat it more like oil sales.
I mean, the interest rate declines are driving that, man.
Well, you can say that. You can say that that's what's driving Ethereum, but I'm telling you, are you buying more ETH? And are you holding it?
No, I don't trade crypto.
Right, but you have to if you're in the marketplace, right? So like for us that are invested with GameStop, remember I give away free NFTs all goddamn day. Over $1,000 the last 2 days in GameStop NFTs. When I give them away, those people are selling them and holding the ETH in their accounts. It's bringing up the value of the marketplace. It's bringing up the value of their own said wallets. There's 80,000 wallets downloaded. Yeah.
Sorry, one other question. I want to know what your confidence intervals are on the 10 to 20 billion revenue. So is it like you think like 15 is the midpoint, obviously, right?
Yep.
But like, okay, are you like 99% confident it will be at least 10 billion and no more than 20? Or is your
I'll tell you 8.9.
Like 35.
8.9. 8.9. 100%.
8.9. Okay.
100%.
8.9. And then what's like the top 99% confidence?
I couldn't imagine it. I'm not that. See, you're trying to pin me to a number, and it's just not there for me. But I hear you.
Okay, let's chill.
I hear you.
I just like establishing confidence.
No, I know. No, trust me. I'm looking at 8.9, and if you're going to travel off of 5 to 10 times that, you're going to be, what, $80 billion market cap on said shares right now. That puts you at around $1,200 a share before split. So divide that by 4, $300 a share. How many people are coming in at that point? How many people want to be a part of this company if they start seeing numbers that are reflective of what they are? Wall Street's coming. And when they do come, they got to come to me for my shares. They got to come to Pepper. They got to come to the next guy. So we can talk fundamentals on GameStop all day, but it's going to be too easy for me. I eat, sleep, and breathe GameStop, man. I'm different than the rest of them.
All right.
But I respect your questions. They're legit. I have Ben K. Oh, you know what, Ben K? Before you put your hand up, I have.
No, I'm not trying to call you out.
No, you're not.
I'm curious.
No, you want to know my conviction.
Informed opinion on these things.
So, but my conviction and the informed decision that I have, right, is based solely upon my own merit and my own homework. Like I literally go in there and say, you know what? I love games. I love the company. I love the leadership, and this is the route I'm going, and here's why. And the numbers reflect that. So I love it. But Astros fan, you're up. Astros fan, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel. It is your floor. You can say whatever you want. I mean, I had somebody come up here and tell me Ryan Cohen's a piece of shit, and it was good. I laughed, I chuckled, and I hugged him after. So you're here, Astros. You can do whatever you want.
Thank you for giving me a chance. I mean, out of all the listeners right now, I'm sure everyone has their own story, everyone has their own reason, and I hope that everyone has their own research as well. I joined to these space calls to get, the motivation, to get, not to get bias, to get motivation, genuine comments, and particularly the spaces that you and Dizzy host. I very much enjoy because it feels like it's an open forum and anybody can say anything. Just very quickly, as I was listening, and there were some comments made about the negative cash flow, and especially that one shitty quarter which was reported, perhaps the last quarter of last year. I would imagine that most of us have experience to work in corporate world. I myself have been blessed to be working for the past 30 years. And it's not easy to pivot, even a small company. I mean, we're talking about a company with tens of thousands of employees, several thousand facilities, and billions of dollars or hundreds of billions of dollars worth of balance sheet and stuff. It's not easy. So, in my experience, I have been a part of a handful of M&As, a handful of pivots. It is a big job. It is not easy. So to judge a company based on negative cash flow or one thing or another is not. I don't think it's fair. Number one. Number two. There was a comment made. Why did somebody give him $10 million to do? Well, it was their money to give. They could have given to anybody or send it or throw in a gutter for all I care. It was their money. Maybe VC Cheng and somebody, they saw something in Ryan Cohen's proposal slide deck that nobody else did. And as Marantz mentioned, Shark Tank, we watch it every week. They're good idea, bad ideas, and people are making spot judgment. Are they all correct? No, they have an intuition. It could be right, it could be wrong. They are making these decisions, and I'm sure it's all televised and everything, so it's not all real. I'm sure that in real world there is more diligence than just a talk show and some comedy here and comedy there, and you get $10 million for your business. I wish it was that easy. It's not like it. So for somebody to see his dream, his proposal, and invest, it's their prerogative. Who are we to question that? And did he not spin that business to make it profitable? I don't have as much data and knowledge as Marantz does, and some of you, I guess all of you, are more literate than I am. I have been in this whole GME AMC saga for 2 years now. I was in AMC before I got out for personal reasons, and only after I learned the market mechanics just a little bit, I began to realize how lucky I was to have left that game, or that activity, whatever you call it, at the peak. I was lucky. It was simply just luck, nothing else. I do not know as much as most of you do, but I know one thing. If we are going to base our decisions and opinions around, look how both of these charts, they run the same way. Well, guys, come on. We see market tank on good news and go up on bad news as if it's not matters. So there seems to be logic. There seems to be logic behind how AMC has been pumped as a hedge against GameStop, and we know what we know based on the partial data that we have. I do feel few things which really give me a lot of confidence, and I'm only going to focus on the GameStop, not the AMC portion. GameStop executives are going to be remunerated. They're going to be paid back in stock. So, as Moran says, they have skin in the game. It's up to them to pivot. It's up to them to make the company really shine. And the more it shines, the more they benefit. And we're all hoping for that. Now, hopium is alone not enough. So let's look at everything that Moran's count, and he's very thorough about it. I don't need to remind again or go over those again. Some of the things that they have done to transform a brick and mortar company into a technology company, that's a huge achievement. For them to have released a NFT marketplace, that's no joke. And more importantly, the world does not understand NFT yet, in my opinion. Maybe some of you will agree or disagree. World does not understand NFT and the power of this whole the idea behind be your own bank is huge. And my conviction in this particular theory is coming from the facts that I've learned in the last 2 years, how corrupt, how enslaving, and how conniving the global financial policymakers are, where they enslave entire nation to achieve their objective, to a point that they will print whatever amount of currency that they need to make whatever policy to push their narrative, and to go to any length to steal money, whichever way they can. They will create wars, they will kill people, they will create famine, and so on and so forth. And I won't take too long, just very quickly.
You're doing a great job, Astros fan. You're doing a great job. I'm not worried about it one bit.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Just something very quickly. I'm not going to name the person, although I'm pretty sure you know who I'm talking about. There is a very famous person who happened to be an ex-president as well, and he has made a career out of losing businesses. He's known to create bankrupt businesses. I mean, come on. This is the type of the corrupt world we live in, where people are creating shortcuts. They are creating loopholes. They are putting corrupt people in powerful places to make biased policies to fuck people like us.
Sure.
That's my why.
Yeah, can I say something to you, Astro?
Sure.
So in the realm of it all, like to sit here and watch a ticker all day, right? The only reason why anyone is watching a ticker would be because they're uncertain of their investment. If you're worried about market manipulation, if you're worried about your company being taken advantage of, that's one thing. But the ticker's not going to tell me the story. Just because they move the same, or just because you look at day-to-day price action, when I invest into companies, and I've said this wholeheartedly, and I'm so convinced on this when it comes to GameStop, is I invest past macroeconomics. I've learned this strategy to put my money in and walk away. Now, why do I have a ticker up? Because I have viewers on the show who want it there in the background. But how many times have I taken it down to show a video or to talk about an NFT or do an NFT interview? Yeah, the stock's still going, guys. I don't care about price action per day because I'm not going to sell it today. When I tell you I'm never going to sell, guys, I know people think that's crazy. Like, what are you talking about, Marantz? Why are you invested? Why do you invest if you're never going to sell? Because I'm going to die one day, and my children are going to get the shares, and then they're going to get the will. And the will's going to tell them, can't sell my shares. That's it. Dad has receipts, and these receipts are with sweat, blood, and tears on YouTube right now. I'm going to have so many videos up online. You guys are going to watch these forever. You guys will be like, that guy was right. Because we know we're right. Well, at least I know I'm right. I know that this company is doing exactly what they said it's going to do. And then when it doesn't, then you and I have something to talk about. But it's not the case. It's not the case. Astro, go ahead. You can finish it up.
I want to say thank you. I want to say something just to kind of wrap it up. You know, a few minutes ago you mentioned you have conviction. Well, that's what I have. That's what I have gained after such a long time. I used to be the guy who would wake up 5 o'clock in the morning to look at the damn ticker every day, and every time it was being, pushed down, I was like, "Oh my God, what the fuck's happening? Like, what happened now?" And there came a point. There came a point when I had read enough DDs, I had done enough research, and I had learned enough, more than anything, to figure out that what we are seeing in this whole systematic simulation of world we live in, the CNBCs, the Yahoo Finances, the Market Watch, all the freaking advanced published articles about predicting the stock movement the following day, and so on and so forth. It should be enough for any smart person to realize that we are being sold a story which we were never supposed to learn about. I mean, we were just supposed to continue to live like dumb sheep, like we have been, and thanks God somebody figured out this story, and by God I believe that we only know part of it. We don't know whole. I mean, we only know a handful of stocks which have been fooled around with. For all I can imagine, the whole market is messed up. I mean, the other day, this HKD goes from freaking whatever $16 to $2,500. That's like crazy. And this is a company which has got no production, which has only hopium. It is out of the Cayman Islands, and nobody knows shit about this. And somebody just woke up to push this to whatever extent. I mean, come on. This is just weird. On the other hand,
no, that company was part of China Asian e-commerce.
Yeah.
You got to go read the filings. Go read the filings.
I did. But the quicker it went up, the quicker it came down as well. It didn't stay at that level. It was pumping down.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you was holding that, then. But if you wanted to go in and do a quick scout, just like was the MEGL, you should have seen what it did when it IPO'd yesterday or the day before, and the stock is trading at $15 right now, and it touched 300.
Yeah, hey Steve,
so
I hear you.
I'll come back to GameStop.
I got you. Hey, Ask, just so you guys are aware, right? Like, so I show the tickers and stuff like throughout the day. You know that I don't show any of those, any pump and dumps. Like, and when they go, hey, Morantz, go look at the stock. It's running today. Exactly. I don't even pull it up. Not one bit.
Coming back.
You got nothing to do with me. No, I hear you. I'll just say it. You're good.
I was coming back to GameStop because I know how Morantz and Dizzy operate. I'm not here to bash any or talk about any other because I'm not invested in that. I mean, simple as that. I don't look at any other ticker because I don't have any more money to invest in those companies. Simple as that. I'm all in GameStop, and that's what matters. Right or wrong, it's my decision. Just like everybody else has a choice to invest in AMC or any other company that they choose to. I have invested my money 100% to a point where I really have no more money to invest. Well, I do, but I don't want to be stupid. Like Marianne said, I have invested the max I could afford to lose, and that's my max bet.
Yep.
Now, I pray that I'm right, and if I'm right, I hope that my generation will thank their great-grandpa for making one good choice in his life. But who knows, right? Maybe I'm wrong, and I'll be cussed out. Well, that old man lost all the money. I mean, it's something that I live with. But anyways, long story short, guys, as Morantz and Dizzy both say, we wish all of you the very best in your own journeys, in your own aspirations, and may it really work to the max of what you wish to be.
Absolutely.
End of the day, that's all we can do.
Thank you, Astro, so much. Hey, real quick, Dizzy, before you go, I know Steve's been up here for a while. I know he interjected right now. Remember, if you guys are going to request to speak, just put your hand up and we'll take anyone. Literally anyone. We want your opinions. We want to know how you feel. And we have nothing to say about it because other than if you ask a question. But some people have let it out. Some people have shouted. Some people have gotten it out. But get it off your chest, guys. There's a lot to get out there. I just want to make a statement really quick. When they were saying everything's traded a lot lately, I want to make a statement to any GameStop holders out there. Realize that GameStop has never traded. Look at this. In the past year, they have not had one day where they traded a third of their float. That means there is real diamond hands out here. People are not selling. The only thing that's happening to it is some people have to get in there, cover whatever they have. But for you guys who are not selling, you guys see the value in it. It can only go up at this point. And I always say that, right? It can only go up. It can only go up. Well, how far down can it go? Just remember that our threshold we need to hit is $48. $48 makes you eligible for the S&P 500 on the market cap itself, and we bounced off of $47.99 yesterday. So it's a good number to have. Steve, the floor is yours. I welcome you to it, and thank you so much for coming to the chat. Steve, go ahead. Steve, you got to unmute the button. I know you were loud right now, but it's all yours.
No, I'm driving. No, my bad. I'm just listening to what you have to say. I don't have any position in AMC or GME. I do play call options on them. However, you're talking about the NFT network, the platform that GME has. AMC has the same thing. AMC also has their Investor Connect. So, you know,
is that something? Is that more like the memberships, like GameStop, or?
Yeah, the membership.
Okay, so.
You know, I mean, and then they have NFTs too. So, my theory: what do you think is better? Do you think the Marvel DC or the Marvel NFTs, Batman, Spider-Man?
I got you, Steve.
Top Gun.
I can answer this.
Do you think those? What do you think is better?
Okay.
The GME NFTs or the AMC NFTs?
So there are two totally different business models here. One is the AMC marketplace, or the AMC NFTs. I apologize. And shout out to all the GameStop market creators that are here, like Lahari. I see Lahari here. Lahari's a great GameStop investor and supporter, and we support his artwork on the marketplace. So thank you for being out here, Lahari. But I will tell you stuff like that. I don't know who else is here. I know there's just some other people here, but I will say it to you this way. AMC released NFTs, and you would say they're for free, but they actually have to pay for them. And with that being said, if you read the fine print, they're free for a year. They're actually paying your gas fees, but on Wax. So Wax is a totally different platform. It's a layer one platform, as in the gas fees are ridiculous. And if that were the case, let's just say you want to move one from to the other, it's not even possible. Like, you're trapped in with those NFTs over there. GameStop has a whole different network. It is totally different technology. It's layer two. It's partnership with the Loopring. So
you're not using ETH, right? You guys aren't using ETH. You're using
we use ETH.
Using Solano?
No, we use ETH. We use ETH.
Okay, well then the gas fees are all the same.
No. So there's
if you're using
Steve, you're talking to a guy who does NFTs all damn day long, young man. You asked a question. I'm trying to answer. We even have creators here.
I'm pretty old.
No, but you're still a term of endearment. Okay, I call you young man, but sir, how about I do that? Hey, sir, you're not hearing me. There are penny less than a fraction of a penny is what GameStop's technology is with Loopring. Loopring is Loopring's technology, but the partnership, it's night and day, man. I tell you what, collect all the NFTs you can, all those ones that they're giving you for free, and let me know what they're worth later. That's it. Just do your best.
Oh, I mean, I got a bunch of them on the Wax IO, but I mean,
yeah, but
you know,
Wax NFTs.
It's cool. I like it.
Wow.
I like all.
Well, there you go.
I'm a crypto person too.
You're a crypto person.
But I just want to interject one more thing.
Yes. Hey, can I ask you something though? Can I ask you something?
Yes, sir.
Steve, because I gotta ask you this question because I'm a realist. I ask these questions.
Yeah.
If you don't own the stock, how the hell do you have the NFTs?
Because I sold.
Oh, okay. No conviction.
I made money.
No conviction. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna make some money. All right. Hey, hey man, I wish you the best of luck. I really do.
Yeah. Just looking at the market that we are in right now, and in the next foreseeable future, companies that are gonna have to be profitable with good earnings and guidance is the way we're looking forward. So I wish all the best for everyone in these plays, and you know, keep spreading that, you know, that information. You're doing a good job.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and follow and retweet the stream. And I want to see you on YouTube and you like and follow there. Thank you, Steve. You specifically. I haven't asked anyone else to do that in this stream. Just you. You're my kind of guy. Oh, what can I do? Steve is a descendant of the common sense investor. You say you own it, you say you sell it.
Don't even start with the common sense investor.
I'll do the whole goddamn act right now. Hey, y'all.
That was. Oh my God.
Hey, you guys got to remember, I'm on YouTube too right now. There's like, I don't even know. There was 500 people over there going through YouTube, and I'm like, hey, yeah, hey,
your
y'all.
whole face changes. Your whole face changes when you do the common sense investor. Stop it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get it. Hey, y'all, let me tell you about the common sense investor. He's a big fan of them granny panties. Right there, Betty Sue, that's what she wears. This guy, Steve's telling me he owns the shares. He don't own the shares, but he has the NFTs. He don't have the wallet. He do have the wallet. I just don't know. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical, not spectacle. My bad. $7 profit. Cha-ching. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm not gonna let the granny panties thing go. Right?
Oh no, that's going with you. That's my mantra for the channel from now on.
Damn it.
Hey guys, listen up, guys. I appreciate everybody here. I know we're having fun at the end here, but we've been live for almost 3 hours, and I'll tell you, we'll outlast anyone when it comes to GameStop info, AMC info. Unfortunately, what people don't get or people don't understand, maybe just a few people that are in here, if you guys try to paint a picture of me and you don't understand it, I've been here for a long time, and there's not a single YouTuber out there or person on Twitter that has more information about AMC. And the unfortunate part is, the reason why I study it is to put out the info for the masses. Whether you want to invest and or make money like Steve, that is your prerogative. I don't care either way. It does not tickle my fancy anyway. What tickles me wrong or what moves me wrong or what rubs me wrong is Adam Aron's approach to leadership. That's where I speak up. That's all it is. I don't care one bit what retail does on the AMC side. I just tell them with caution what it is. And some people out here hosting Spaces calls that hold the power in their hands to mute people, tell them 1 strike, 2 strike, you're out. All the above, I do none of the above. When I run a Twitter Spaces call, I record them on purpose. I put them up on YouTube on purpose. So that when people draw back and say, oh, that guy's a bully, oh, that guy demeaning, or that guy's that, it's none of the above. I literally will sit here, I will hear you out, and we will talk it out. But I encourage you guys to come out and support the channel, support the information, and support the movement. You don't need to come to me and try to give me a view. It's not that way. When I say support the channel, I'm saying the people within it, right? This is community. We're literally a brotherhood. This is Red Rover, send the shorts right over, send whoever, doubters right over. And we're clotheslining them with information. And then it's emphatic following. You don't think that we support Lahari. You don't think we support Ordinary Adam. You don't think we support, the League of Veterans. All these guys that have come through this marketplace that are making money for themselves as well, and in verse for GameStop, their investment. Why would I not be supportive of them and the marketplace and the positive things GameStop has going on? If I saw a positive thing coming through for AMC, I would jump out of my skin and I'd be like, this is awesome, man. But I don't see it. That's the problem. So I wish everyone the best of luck. I'm going to let Dizzy say her piece. If there's anyone else that wants to speak, it is now or never, because I'm going to get going. I've been here all the way till 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we all know I didn't get to go play basketball. I have one more requester here, Dizzy, before you go. It is Z Trading Options. Well, there you go. The name alone is already getting me in a way, but I got you, brother. Made you possible to speak. Hey, Z, just so you know, it's an open format. You can say whatever you want. We don't judge that way. We just support. So appreciate you, brother. The floor is yours.
Okay, real quick, I just want to say one thing. Steven sent me a DM, and he told me to tell you that you're a shill.
Okay.
And you're a hedgie, so.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, thank you.
What's up, Z-Meister?
Yeah, so I don't get paid too much for being a shill. I have a corporate job. I do my best, and I donate all my time for free. So if I'm a shill, I'm pretty bad.
How much is Kenny G paying you, buddy?
Not too much, man. Not enough, actually, because if that were the case, why am I pushing GameStop, right? I mean, GameStop is the push. It doesn't really make sense. It's going to cripple the world, not help them.
You're right, dude. Bed Bath and Beyond and AMC are just distractions, right?
I just bought Bed Bath & Beyond, 3 weeks ago at $460? I'm pretty sure we did that on live, all of us, a lot of us. So, no, there's no distractions. There's just you and your conviction in your investment. If you love your company, you go for it. If you don't, you don't.
All right. So you're saying all in on Bed Bath and Beyond, and that's financial advice?
I'm telling you what I'm doing. You can do whatever you want. You got to get to know me.
I'm just fucking with you, dude.
I know you are, Z.
I appreciate the space. I just wanted to come up.
Hey, Z, you can come up. Hey, I don't get triggered, bro. I've been around a long time. So I've been in these conversations, and I've been my feet to the fire, and it doesn't rattle me. So I encourage you and Steve to sit back to back and give each other, little arm wrestle hugs or do something. But it's on you, man. I love life. I love GameStop, and we all get together from time to time. Dizzy and I host spaces. It's what we do, and we have a good time doing it. Additionally, we're live every morning, 9 a.m. on YouTube, giving away thousands of dollars in NFTs. Thank you to all the creators who donated.
I appreciate the space, dude. Just keep shorting the stock, okay? Thank you, man.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking into puts on AMC. I mean, it's a pretty surefire bet right about now. So I got to figure out. I don't know how far out. I was talking to Josh at the beginning of this stream, Josh Brown, my man, and I think we're trying to get it all the way until like December timeframe. So I'll see. I think there were $15 a put. So maybe you get like 5 of them. We'll see how it goes. They're printing, from what I hear. We have a speaker here, the infamous Derek J., the man who won a $700 NFT yesterday. Derek, the luckiest man on the planet. What's going on, Derek?
Hey, I just wanted to say, if you want to collect NFTs, tune into Morant's YouTube channel. All right, he's no grifter. I won this NFT. You can see in my profile. So definitely, you got to listen in, and you got to stick around to win.
Yeah, but you don't have to listen to win. I give them away all day on Twitter. Literally, I do NFT giveaways at least 5 to 10 a day, and they're all worth something, right? So we just have enough of a connection with the community to get the community driven. And what we're trying to do is adopt the idea of utilizing the marketplace and your wallet. Once we get that adopted, and we do it by the masses, one by one, then we'll get there. So it's brick by brick. But I learned this. And listen, guys, this is not me. It's not like I get to pound my chest and be like, oh, this was my idea. I learned this by hanging out with dudes like Diamond and Cousins Finn and, Nagus and Pickle and Dizzy and B-Strat and the whole crew on Twitter that passed around NFTs months ago and were prepping for this. And they taught me a lot. They schooled me on this. Just like I can teach anyone about e-commerce and retail and investing and about companies, these guys knew Web 3.0 and NFTs and art. And they have educated me beyond belief, and I'm expanding my education. So that's why I hang out in Spaces calls. That's why I hang out with these guys, this whole crew. I have 2 different crews. One is Twitter and one is YouTube. YouTube's different. YouTube's a bunch of blue-collared, the shit, right? These dudes are like warriors. If you saw the movie 300, that's what I have. It's just times 4,000, right? So it's just a little different movement. But this NFT movement is real, and it's only because of these guys. So kudos to them, Derek, and I appreciate the kind words, Derek. But I wouldn't be here without people like you and everyone else.
Yeah, just so you're aware, I'm fairly new to the NFT space. I got my first GameStop wallet on July the 1st, and I've got a bunch of them now. I've bought some as well. The community's awesome. I've also got AMC shares where I have those NFTs, but I don't even know how to get rid of them. They're part of the wax thing, so it's just way more complex compared to GameStop's NFT marketplace and GameStop wallet, just so you're aware.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for letting me speak, Lance. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Annyeonghaseyo, Adashi. Bali Bali. There you go. And Dizzy, now you have your parting shot. Go ahead, Diz.
Yeah, let's see if I still remember whatever I was going to say. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, guys, when I found Morant, I tried to send him $5 on YouTube because I was so impressed with all the information, and he was like, "Don't you dare!" He doesn't accept super chats, or he highly discourages them. Yep. I think he does accept memberships, right?
That's about it. If you want to, you don't have to though. Like my moderators, some of my moderators aren't even members. Like that is not a prerequisite to even be a part of the channel. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And the guy, it was banned off of Superstomp because of some misunderstanding. You know, he's like shadow banned from YouTube, and somehow he's, you know, Marantz has this organic following that has, you know, it's just crept up, and it's amazing. And you know, I consider Marantz a friend. That's why I'm helping him here today, because I sold AMC last year, okay? And I believe, Marantz, you had AMC too at some point, right?
That is correct.
And like, so I didn't engage with that community anymore. I muted, you know, the keywords AMC and everything, because I just wanted to focus on GME. And but inevitably, right, like AMC and GME, for some reason, like, they keep getting brought up together. So it's, you know, as much as you try to mute, it still happens. Like, I've tried to stay out of the drama. And I guess what I'm saying right now is, as much as I've focused on GME all year long, just by supporting Marantz and these couple of calls, I'm taking so much heat.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's you know, pretty unfair, because I try to be so kind to everybody, and it's just so surprising. But this isn't about me. Marantz, I have a couple of DMs from folks who want to ask you that, you know, we used to focus on GME.
Yeah.
So why are we hosting calls about AMC, which might cause division and might cause drama? And if you want to maybe, you know, touch on that a little bit, like, why not the peaceful GME calls, etc.
Yeah.
And why specifically now we're focused on AMC? Because there's some people saying, are you looking for more clout and followers and optimizing the algorithm? Here's the thing, right? Marantz will allow me to even say this stuff, right? Yeah. In other calls, you even try to suggest something like that to a host, and you're out. Earlier, when Ben came up, we allowed him to say his spiel. In other calls, you'd be kicked right out.
He knew that too.
You're not allowed to have that opposing view.
Yeah,
so
no.
Anyway, Marantz, like, back to my question.
Sure. Well, shit. Now we're not going to end the call. Now we're going to go on, because you know I'm going to go deep. No, I'll tell you what. So my motivation, if I need any, right, is always truth. I always put that out there. But there's a guy out here called Pepperwood Salt. And you guys, everybody knows Peppered. If you don't know who Peppered is, well, then listen up. Peppered is the real deal. Peppered is the largest shareholder I know, other than Ryan Cohen and Deep Fucking Value. Peppered has that many shares. He's the real deal. And he supports GameStop wholeheartedly. But he was lost at a point where he was just listening to AMC. He was just watching AMC videos. And he said, you know, Marantz, one day I just turned it on and I saw you talking. And I saw a video, and I went, and you know, he went on a binge. And he watched all the videos. I mean, we have 700-something videos online right now. Talking GameStop, talking AMC, talking the markets, talking motivation, talking you through whatever you're going through. I have plenty of it. So I talk and I rant from time to time, with all the respect in the world to the idea that I might find the next Pepperwood Salt. I might find the next individual that needs that hand up. That's it. There's no motivation beyond that. Guys, I make more money not being on YouTube every day of the week. I promise you that. Dizzy knows what I do for a living. And I don't need to be sitting in front of you. Not at all. My wife laughs. My wife is like, what are you doing? But just like I don't need to be sitting in front of you, neither does Pepperwood Salt. Pepper doesn't have to be starting an NFT career that he's going wild on. The guy's a multi-millionaire. But it's a passion that is driven within inside you. I don't know why I'm here, Diz. I couldn't tell you it's because of views or an algo or any of the nature. I walk into the lion's den daily. I went into a Twitter Spaces call where I thought it was going to be cordial. They were going to let people speak. I waited my turn. I raised my hand. And when I started speaking, someone shouted out from the back, "But you sold! I saw your video." And I was like, is that a problem? I mean, somebody says they sold GameStop. I don't even react. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, how does it make me feel? It doesn't make me feel any way. None. I don't care what people do with their money. That's their prerogative. But I will tell you this. I do have a platform that was built organically. Yes, Dizzy, you're absolutely right. I was celebrating a year ago of having 100 followers. But I grind. I grind and I put in the time to get out the message and the info. And if you want to watch, great. If you don't do it. Don't come back to a Twitter Spaces call where you might get some info that might get you to think a different way. But that's on you. You're going to make a choice decision. Why am I here? For one more pepper with salt. It's very simple. But that's God's honest truth. I know that we pulled up another speaker and then they left. That was unfortunate. But the unfortunate part is that GG showed up and he hadn't been here all night. Guys, I appreciate your time and I appreciate your passion towards whatever play you're in. Somebody like Logan, hey Logan, I see you in the chat still, and I want to commend you, brother. I really do. You might think I'm a bad guy. You might think you might know me because of a tweet where I put out some facts or an opinion. Even if I put out an opinion, get to know me. Get to sit through it, and you'll see where the passion really is. Those guys are all fakes out there. You think I'm pushing this agenda or this questioning or this exposing of an SEC filing or some info for any monetary value? Go look at the people you watch. They do it for money. They can't afford not to. I can. And that's why I'm here. Every day. Rain or shine. GameStop. Can't stop, won't stop. GameStop. I'll see you around, millionaires. Peace.